Greetings! I am your host, Jake, and I roll the dice that doesn't matter to determine a thing that it does not help or harm. This is Charisma Saves, and we play Dungeons and Dragons, goddammit.
What did you roll, though?
A 10. It literally determines nothing. Like, it's never affected the intro. It's just been fun to do every time. It's never helped or harmed. It's just been a prompt. I can talk about the number and we can go, ooh. It does nothing.
I feel like I've just been told Santa Claus isn't real and it breaks my heart.
Reminder, this is the big bad of the campaign. His name is Terrence. Don't forget it. You don't get to call him that, though. So, we have Hannah, we have Sarah, we have Alex, and we have Randall. We're all playing characters that aren't real, and then they become real due to the magic of Gary Gygax.
I don't think that's how that works at all.
No? He didn't die for us so that we could have a mindscape to play in?
No.
Are you sure? Okay, any announcements? I think we're good, really. I don't think anything has happened. We seem to be... I feel like we played just the other day, but maybe we didn't.
We did play just the other day.
What day was it?
Monday and Friday.
Oh, okay, so it's not been long at all. This feels great.
Is he doing a bit?
No, this isn't a bit. I'm just, like... I feel like we're like... Things are happening. We keep playing Dungeons and Dragons.
I think it's just because he just had a nap, so he's in a really good mood.
Yeah, I had a little nap. I woke up real early this morning and did a bunch of stuff in the snow, and then didn't do it anymore and took a nap. That was my day. It was nice,
jealous.
though.
A bunch
You're
of stuff
jealous?
in the snow.
Yeah, I wish I had time for naps.
It's a thing I'm trying to work into my life. I'm not good at them, but I'm trying to make them a thing I'm good at. Did you just shave? You look shaped.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's clean.
It looks
Thanks.
good. It looks good. Hey, everyone oogle Alex in chat, okay? Give me a doot if you doot his boot. With consent. Hey, you showed them feet, dude. You unlocked this monster. So,
True.
seriously, do we have any announcements? There's so many things going on. I actually don't know. You'd be the only one that could answer this question.
No.
Okay,
no
we're good. We're not doing
announcements.
anything. Nothing has happened. Our lives are at our crossroads. It's basically a Mexican standoff of productivity at this point. All right. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day.
It is.
If you're spending it with someone, that's dope. Just rewatch this episode. If you're spending it without someone, that's dope too. Just rewatch this episode.
Yeah.
There you go. And,
We're all your Valentine.
and now you're sorted. If someone dies, you can just rewatch it and then also be sad on Valentine's Day. So that'll be fun. So, I forget. I'm into the recap. If you guys are into the recap,
Yeah.
Cool. Let's do it. I want to know. Boop. Also want to test this sound here. This is from Kingdoms of Amalur, but it has a very John Williams feel to it.
I was about to say,
does.
this sounds familiar. What is it from? And that's...
Kingdoms of Amalur.
Yep.
I mean, it's uncopyrighted. Please don't copy strike me, dead studio that made this.
The state
Video
of Rhode
game.
Island.
The state of Rhode Island and Kurt Schilling, baseball legend who bankrupted. That's a real story. All
Yes!
of this is true.
It was
So,
funded by the state of Rhode Island.
yeah, because he tried. Yeah, it doesn't matter. He's a terrible conservative person who hates all of our
It's a
existences.
shame that that game died.
Well, fuck
was a
Kurt
good
Schilling. I'm really glad he lost money on it. So, last we left off, the Keepers of Eight had traveled to the Feywild. You are in search of kind of the way to repair and possibly get back the long-dead wife of Icillius, a long-term member of the Keepers of Eight. He was here with you pretty much right after the first time you entered the Feywild. You found him in the Shadowfell, where you're heading, you are heading back to the place where you met this broken man and his incredibly sad story. And this doesn't have a lot to do with your long-term goals, but you feel like you need to help this guy. You need to help him figure out his shit. You need to help him hopefully get some semblance of happiness back, some part of his life back.
Bringing someone back from the dead was also a potential way to get that energy for that side of the cube. So,
But we need the other half of her soul to be free in order to even attempt it.
Yeah.
So, you made your way through the Feywild to the large Fey city built in this giant magical tree named Tenuvian. Basically looks like a huge tree with the sides carved out and the inside hollowed out. It's still alive, even though it's been carved. You made your way to the top through strange looks from Eladrin, and you found yourself talking to an archdruid. This particular archdruid you had come into contact with before. You had gotten boons from this multicolored, ever-changing Eladrin, whose name is what?
Arimarel.
Arimarel. I had the other name for some reason. And Arimarel decided to grant you passage to where you need to go. For a cost. In the past, he had granted you a boon that you have all made use of multiple times throughout your adventures, but it cost him a lot of power. And they needed it returned to them. So, you had sat down at the table, eaten of some of the fruit, and been, over the course of an hour, slowly sapped of this boon that was once granted to you. And that's where we pick up. I need everyone to make a Constitution saving throw.
21.
Okay.
21.
6.
17.
Icillius and Professor, you both have a level of exhaustion from this process. But this is a specific kind of exhaustion. You have some education. You can both make an Arcana check.
Is this a magical effect?
Is what a magical effect?
Like what's happening to us?
Yeah.
12.
Why?
I'm good at it.
Never mind. I was looking at an ability I had.
16.
25, you said?
No.
5?
12.
12? Why did I say 25 in my head? And 16? You guys don't know what's going on necessarily, but it doesn't feel like the normal physical exhaustion that you would feel just through being physically tired. It seems like a deeper kind.
Does it have the same mechanical effects, or are those
I guess you'll find out. You definitely feel like, sure, I could sleep, but I mean, like, you also just trekked through the jungle, and you do feel a little exhausted, so I guess we'll see. What were you gonna... Did you have a question?
No.
About an ability or something?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Oh, that's a terrible marker. You get out of here. Leave my life forever. There we go. I need these finer point boys. Oh, yeah.
We should probably get some new markers soon.
I mean, these are doing just fine for me. And Professor. Okay. So as this occurs, Ronoro leans back, sort of breathes in deep. Thank you. Please enjoy the fruits if you need them. Look down, you've actually consumed a few more fruits than you planned on. You remember taking the first bite, and that hour just went past so quickly. You've probably been incapacitated and mildly stunned for the most part for the last little bit, but mindlessly eating some fruit here and there. You all feel like your bellies are full, and you're pretty rejuvenated. You gain the effects of a short rest, other than any exhaustion things that you experienced. So if you have any hit points gone, you have hit points to use, or you want to get back a slot with your arcane recovery, or if anything, any other abilities happen during a short rest, you do gain it. But of course you do lose those boons, so I think we already went over that, though. I think everyone's set. You just lean back and start petting those two giant moss-covered looking wolf-type creatures. And it's the four of you and the three of them sitting on this flat, hewn tree trunk type setting, looking out over top of the rest of this jungle. You see some birds flying in the sky of multicolors, the ever-setting sun to your left as you look down the table. Well, you are free to go. Once you make it to Sorrow's End, you may be granted access. You will have my token of granted passage. And 4 tiny shards of amber float in front of you.
Take one.
And they almost look like, it looks like amber, like Jurassic Park, but not smooth and rounded. It looks like jagged pieces of like an uncut gem of amber, and inside each of them is a tiny skull. Alenia, everybody but Icillius. Well, no, Icillius, everybody can make a nature check on this. Because you've been through the Feywild before, of course.
Oof, 3. Things are going great today.
11.
11.
Also 11.
19.
Oh, 3.
3.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard me or not.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Alenia, you recognize this. It is a pixie skull. You don't know for what reason, but there it is. Present these to the one that presides over the entrance to Sorrow's End, and you will be granted access. May I do anything else for you?
That's kind of it.
Back and sort of, they kind of purr a little bit, but like if dogs purred. Very strange.
No, that kind of takes care of everything for us. Thank you for helping us, and
Thank you for cooperating. I hope the boons were of good use, but I need them now. I'm having some problems with some elemental issues, so...
should we set out now?
One of them, the one on this side, walks around the table. And you can feel it sort of pass behind you Doesn't feel very threatening though, and it kind of has a sweet, almost floral smell mixed with like fresh cut grass. And then over your shoulder, it sniffs kind of like right here. It kind of does that sort of like, imagine a nose this big.
Mm-hmm.
That semi-wet but not cold because it's so humid here. Like not even an intentional dog nose boop. And it kind of like touches you a little bit as it sniffs.
I reach my hand out.
Sort of lays its chin.
I'll give him scritches.
Yeah, it feels like running your hand through soil. Like you can feel the tips of your fingers, like you pull them away, and it's like you dug in a little bit of soil. There's like some grit on your fingertips, and like you can see some of it laid inside your fingerprints. But it seems to like it. Again, it's like this sort of half purr, half like dog groan of like.
Like when Darwin gets good.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's like literally like it's, I can't do it, but somewhere in between. He likes your blood. And it sort of walks away.
My
Curls around
blood?
and sort of scoops the other one. Takes a large melon, throws it back, and the two of them sort of snap up for it.
What do you mean by my
Play
blood?
with it and then wrestle on the ground, sort of 15 feet back. Your blood?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, your celestial blood. It is sweet to us. Not in a... no, this sounds... no one will eat you. It is an aroma. I cannot describe it to your... It is like, raining honey.
I think I understand.
It is strange. But he likes it.
They're very cute.
Turns purple a little bit. Well, I am happy to have visitors for as long as possible. If you like, we can grab some beverages, or if you must get on your way.
I would really like to stay and visit, but
The last few, I forgot, because you said I had exhaustion, but it's different. Should I be making things at disadvantage, like a normal first level?
Normal exhaustion.
Okay.
From that mechanical standpoint,
Okay.
it all works.
Just making sure.
They lift up like a huge, like, it almost looks like a wooden stick, like this, and then it does have like a little bulb at the end. Hacks it with some sort of thing, and then just holds their hand under, and it just starts to heat.
I wish that we weren't always under such dire circumstances, so we could take a moment.
Yes. I would like to discuss one thing very briefly, if I may, with the human here. Do you want to turn that a little bit so can you see me at all? Thank you. Oh, please do not be offended by the rest of this, but it is very peculiar.
What's that?
Where is your soul? You come in here, and most husks I see wander sadly through the Shadowfell, but you have retained who you are, your purpose. It's very interesting.
Well, it seems to be in possession of the Dream Eaters, which is part of the reason we're going back in there.
The Dream Eaters? I do not think they could make such a separation occur.
You don't?
mean, it could be them, but they sometimes deal with others that deal in souls and make deals with their captives. Do you know how Dream Eaters sustain themselves? Are any of you familiar with this?
Do they eat memories and...
You would think, because of their name, they eat dreams. It is not the case. It is a colloquial term. Does anyone...
Can I make some kind of...
You cannot make an... You could just take a stab in the dark just as your character.
Okay.
But you don't... Like, you have... There's no history of these people.
Okay.
The only thing I remember was the one time we got attacked by them. They seemed to kind of suck all of the happiness out of everything.
Yes. These are... the non-colloquial term for them is Nazlas, but it is, they do take happiness, they do. Have you experienced this? Contact with Dream Eaters? I know that when you returned, you had mentioned that this individual was in the Shadowfell last time, but I do not know necessarily the nature of your travels. I do not... I do this sometimes. I speak to mortals and I just tell them things they already know, and I'm trying to break the habit.
I've seen the Dream Eaters work quite a bit.
I am sorry for that experience. I hear it is a... how do you say? One would not choose.
Yeah.
It is... what they do typically to sustain themselves is they do not eat dreams, they eat in your dreams. So while you dream, they feast. And if I am to understand it correctly, and they are mysterious people, and maybe if you have a conversation with them without killing all of them, you might learn more, but to my understanding of survivors of these individuals, the Caraptus being like if you entered a beehive and bees ate your dreams. But yes, this is where they live, this is where they spring from, and the Caraptus, the structure was built around sort of their hive, and then they were imprisoned. At least this group. I know that there are some that travel the Shadowfell outside of this hive specifically. Anyways, they do have a leader, and something about the feelings of the people involved in the dreams, and there's some interaction there, but... other than that, I don't know about their... I've not encountered them myself. It's always been tales from other people, and I have not actually been able to go to the Caraptus since the Fearsmith had taken over, but... Speaking of which, do you have that head?
I do.
Is it on you?
I don't believe it is on us. I think it's on the ship.
I thought you took the bag of colding with you.
Oh yeah, I did start carrying that around after we talked about the homunculus.
Yeah,
The
Like right
How
before
long?
we went into the Feywild, you were
So,
like
yes.
talking about assembling.
I actually do have that head.
Interesting. Well, I'd be very interested in seeing if it had any magics left over. But it is yours to barter with. It is not mine to claim. So,
Is there anything you would offer in return?
I don't know. What would you like?
It's a head, you might as well.
I take offense at the tone with which you talk about the head. Heads are like the best body part.
What are we gonna do with it?
I don't know. You've never had a head emergency? You just need a head for something?
Never.
Depends on how many heads the thing has.
I feel like they would probably be able to put it to better use.
Maybe.
Or worse.
Can I ask what you're going to do with it? I know you said you're interested in any magics that might be contained.
Magics.
What kind of magics do you typically...
I am not able to tap into the Shadowfell magics very often. Most of the people that come here are Shadar-kai and we kill them. But having the head of a long-standing member of the Shadowfell, there may be some things we can learn. There are aspects of the Fae that deal in shadow. It would not be the worst thing to have a little bit of that. It had not dawned on me to ask for it until you had mentioned it before, so... I don't know. It could be fruitless. You could also do experiments on it, my friend. That's up to you. Whatever you'd like. I have some interest in it. And
Could always
we are
just
talking and being friendly, and
Could always what?
leave it with them, and if they find something, then
well, you won't lend it to me. It might be destroyed in any of my experiments. It
I
would have to be
know.
a trade just in case.
well, I was gonna say it could be a trust, as in we give it to you,
Mm-hmm.
and then you conduct whatever experiment, and then you can return the value, I guess, equivalent of what you've learned.
That's a terrible deal for us.
And if it harms, you will pay the difference.
It would harm? I didn't even consider that it could harm.
No, that is why I'm here. Arching and druiding.
I mean, to be fair, the last time we did a job, we accepted a vague payment, so I feel like
This
trust
is a little
earned.
different. This is sort of a commodity issue. I also don't know necessarily what you might have that I would want in return.
I don't know. It depends on what you desire. We have many things here in the Feywild. I could offer you a simple weapon, but surely we could be more creative than some of these things. Maybe you can consider it, and on your way back, if you survive and do not die in the Shadowfell, never to be seen again, we can talk then.
Okay. Sounds good.
I would also be interested in any more Shadowfell artifacts.
I'll keep it
There's
in
a
mind.
constant battle to the west right now, so...
A battle with whom, if you don't mind me asking?
The Shadowfell.
Oh, sure. Just like, oh, I get what you're saying. I understand.
Welcome to the conversation, my young elf.
Sorry, I thought
Lady
you were talking
friends.
about something different for a second.
I don't know. What would you think I was talking about?
I don't know, there's a lot of stuff going on. The world's ending.
Oh, is it now?
I have school in like a week. It's been busy.
World's always ending, it seems, for material planers.
Well, more.
You're-
The
you-
world is ending for all planes of
Yes, that's just what I
existence.
hear.
You seem very calm about it, all things considered.
Every time it happens, it never happens.
Has
Wait,
this
what do
happened
you-
a lot?
I mean, it never happens. It can only happen once.
And it never has.
Maybe it's due.
Just trust that.
Maybe it was last time.
What do you mean by last time?
Maybe we are in the time when this does not happen. Maybe other times are eradicated and we are fine. Maybe we are not fine, and this is what happens after we are eradicated. And here we are. If you live as long as I do, you find that things are too complex to worry about. The systems that are at play have been set in motion 10,000 years ago, and before that, 10,000 years. There is nothing I can do to change the eventuality of whatever, so here we are, eating fruit and smoking herbs.
There's absolutely. You could change so much about the world.
For instance, you're certainly happy to be taking over an area that the Fearsmith once held.
Sure.
Surely, if you didn't care about the consequences of actions.
Oh, I
and
don't
your
say I
effect
don't
on them.
care, but I'm certainly not going to worry about things that I have no control over. What if the world does end, and it seems that the four of you seem invested in that narrative? surely you will stop it. And if you don't, I haven't worried a day.
I guess that's one way to look at it.
Well, time works differently. You could be dead for 45 minutes and I would have another month. Who knows?
I think this plane's gonna go before the material one. Just
Well, if that
Heads
is
up.
the case, then that is how it is. There's been rumors spreading. Some people are worried. To me, 5, 6, 7,000 years. Life and its pleasures are finite. And also its suffering. I don't know, I've never tried not existing before. Or have I? I have no idea. Do we not exist before we exist, or do we only not exist after existence? Are we just pre-existing?
I think the pipe got to him.
Would you like some?
I guess it's just a different perspective. I know
Surely.
most of us are mortal and that
Ah yes, ties to ones that you love, and people that cannot defend themselves. I of course have these in my life as well, but again, if I do not appreciate them today and they die tomorrow, I will have missed the day.
Sometimes the fear of things coming to an end can bring people closer, though.
Absolutely. And I hope that for you, my friends, if that is what you seek.
Well,
should probably get moving.
yeah.
Alright, well, again, if you find any strange treasures on your way, I would love to see them. And you can have a friend, did I mention this last time? Before you took a little nap?
Maybe?
You may be transported here pretty quickly if you survive, instead of having to trek there and back.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that.
What did you say, from where? Like, did we have to
Solace
talk
One.
to someone specifically?
Yes, you will talk to the caretaker.
Okay, that was it.
Present your amber, and then you'll be good to go.
Okay.
Well, good luck on the journey. Please take a fruit. And Soulless One.
Yeah.
I wish you well, my friend. Hopefully you find what you came here for and find that happiness you've been looking for.
Thank you.
Well, you know their way out?
I'll stand up and do a polite bow and leap.
Goodbye, Rose.
To me?
No, she's talking to Rose.
I thought she was with the
Rose is
boat
with
guy.
the boat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm confused.
You're not meant not to be.
That was out of character. I didn't say that in character. I'm just saying
I
I'm
think Elenia would probably be confused as well.
actually confused.
Yeah. Yes. Traverse down the stairs after a while. You reach the bottom, and on the other side there is a sort of a land bridge to the left, towards the west. So, it won't be as hard.
Sure.
But some things have changed. Ramorel did mention that some of the Feywild had overtaken some of the Shadowfell. So it might not be as desolate, and kind of the way that works is it's a give and take, and they sort of fight over territory over time. Although they're both relatively neutral. One just deals in excess and one deals in not having enough.
Wasn't it basically like in a crater? Or there was, I remember there being a large cliffside that we had to
There was
get
a large
down.
cliffside, but it wasn't a crater.
I remember.
Or not really a crater. It's because it mimicked our world, and that would have technically been like under the ocean if there was an ocean, right?
Yeah, it's like you walking off the deep end of an empty pool.
Yeah.
Because you are walking off of the cracking isles. Now, it's not 1-to-1, because things change, and there are no tectonics here, so it's a little different. So, anything you guys want to do on the way back?
Just grabbing Rose from the gatekeeper boat person.
Nope, you don't get to.
What?
He's on the other side. You won't be able to get there. And
Yeah, Rose had to stay with him the whole time until he came back.
Yep.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Yep.
that was presented very clearly.
I thought.
No, it's staying with Rose until we get back, so we
Yep.
can go back across.
What?
That's
Yeah.
what you traded. Yep.
You
I'm very
gave
confused.
the boat person Rose
Until you return.
until we returned, which is how we all got
Until
across.
we returned from the Shadowfell?
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like,
Nope.
oh, we're gonna pick him up on the
No,
way
it's a
out
different
and then
path.
head to the
I
Shadowfell.
believe it's a different path into the city via
Well, then
boat
I
than it is to
fucking
go
didn't
from there
understand that trade at all.
Well, it happened. So.
Alright.
Pay for your passage. You can go and do it and walk to the other side.
No, it's fine.
Okay, because they won't let you stay. Because once you're in the territory, that's it. Everyone's good?
Yep.
Alright, so you walk down through this city that you've never explored. Past all this Sylvan, which I think only Icillius knows. Yeah. So you see stores for all sorts of shit. Lots of food and normal stuff, but your standard stuff as well. A lot of alt medicines, a lot of magics, a lot of stuff like that. You didn't bring your druid with you, so a little less interesting to a gun-toting human. But you get down to the bottom, and yeah, there is a way westward, unless anyone wants to do anything. Were you gonna say something, Randy?
No.
Oh, okay. Felt like I cut you off for a second. All right. So, heading west. This is another skill challenge to move westward through the Fae towards the Shadowfell. So, it's a little bit easier. There is a little bit of a path that works most of its way. There's just no straight up roadway. So who wants to go first? As you basically, you're staring at basically the exterior of a Fae jungle right now. Again, there's these super long vines that hang down from the top of the canopy. Very large birds that go through of many colors. You can hear distant roars of different animals and stuff like that. The Eladrin look at you, walk all the way down and out. Little blue lanterns hang off of this tree, and then that casts most of the light in the area. You can also see there are some lanterns kind of in the jungle, up and down, and seeming like Fae suburbs, I guess. But yeah, heading west. Who's up?
I have disadvantage right now, so I would be a poor choice.
I will do perception because I won't have disadvantage.
Okay. So you're just gonna what? You have to describe it to me.
There's kind of a path.
A little
You
bit.
said.
Mhm.
Just make sure. I guess just making sure we don't leave the path, and that we're following like
Yeah.
a road that looks more traveled than others.
Sure.
I guess. 17.
17 is a success.
The 1s and 7s look
So-
so similar.
Mm-hmm.
Icillius yet again takes the helm in front of everyone. Helenia, a little disgruntled, she didn't realize how long she was going to be separated with Rose. But you guys are all like, well, we have to do it. She'll be much safer. And you,
He'll be much safer.
Or he'll be much safer, and you head west. Yeah, it's pretty easy at first. By the end of your little turn here, a good couple hours into travel, which is very, very good for one turn. You can kind of see there's a little more tamped down where people tend to walk, including animals. There's some, what is it called, tributaries, where little creeks of water or
Yeah.
something turn off of the main water source just from gravity. There's a little bit of that. So you're kind of walking over vines and long roots over these sort of brooks, little rocks and stuff, and it goes pretty much all to plan. You do see some white fur rubbings on some trees. Seems like something large or medium size is walking by and sort of rubbing themselves on these trees, maybe to scratch or just mark or something. As a part-time ranger, you pick up on this sort of stuff. It reminds you a lot of like a bear, or like like other large mammals like that sort of maybe mark their territory or just accidentally bump into shit because they're wide. So, see little tufts of white hair every once in a while. That's something you notice specifically. But all right, so that comes to an end. Icillius sort of stops, and we're kind of at the end of the path here.
Is there any, like, wildlife around us that's active?
Oh yeah, there's like mostly right now it's birds and small like either rodents or primates.
Okay.
Again, these are fey in nature, so a lot of them are a little weird, but you specifically see some parrot-like birds up in canopies in this area a lot. And they have a nice sort of a orchestral sound to them.
I would like to look, I guess, try to determine which of the animals in the area might be the most intelligent as far as, like, directions. Like, aware of its surroundings.
Okay, roll a nature check.
Nat 20, so 26.
Okay, the birds would probably have the best idea of where to go due to the fact that they can pass the canopy.
Okay, I'm gonna cast Speak with Animals.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask the birds for directions to...
Okay, so you want to walk up to the birds?
Yes?
Okay, you're going to have to roll an animal handling check to not spook them, but because of the nat 20 nature, you can do so with advantage. Double nat 1.
Not bad.
That's
Negated.
really good.
What
20.
happened the last time we spoke to birds?
20.
Okay, and you cast Speak with Animals.
Um,
And you see about half a dozen of these blue and purple and green, like when their wings are down, just their bellies are blue and then purple, and then when they and the tops of them are green, probably to blend in, and then when they go like this, it's blue, purple, and the tips on the insides are red. And so they're very, very striking. They have these sort of like cone beaks, and they're kind of chewing on what looks like to be like a really, almost like a walnut, and then grabbing some sort of fruit out of them. And they kind of take their little hand claw thing. What are those called? I mean, they're just feet, but like, is there a name for it?
Like a talon?
Is it a talon
Is
on a
that the
parrot?
one?
I was
That's
gonna say talon, but I don't think that's it.
That's
Mine are
talons.
talons. But
Is
I
it
don't know.
talons? Okay, so they kind of grab them and bring them up to their mouth on the sides. So you see, actually on the ground beneath, they look like little bowls of nutshells, and it almost looks like a. You've seen a cocoa bean where they're like white on the inside? It almost looks like that. And there's like dozens of those on the ground where they've just been feasting all day.
Excuse me.
You see one going into a marsupial-like pouch in its stomach.
Hello. Can you understand me?
Yes?
Would you be able to show me and my walking friends a safe path towards the, that dark area off in the distance? The shadowy area?
Sort of gets out on the edge. I'm confused a little bit. Yeah. Puts it back in this little marsupial-like pouch. How are you doing? And you understand this?
Great, how are you? That happened again.
Okay, well, so, he just sort of picks up his little foot. That way, but, avoid the, oh, I don't want to be offensive. The White Devils?
What are those? Can you describe them?
Yeah, they sort of look like him. Points right to Icillius. But naked. And stronger looking.
Okay.
Yeah, they steal our fruit nuts.
Where are they ahead exactly? Do you know?
They're ours.
Do you know a way to get around them
Your
safely?
elf friend looks skeptical of my fruit nuts.
I assume I don't understand.
You don't at all.
Okay.
She probably is.
She can't understand you, so.
Have you pair bonded yet?
Yes.
Rats.
Oh, okay.
Can
I'm
Eric
saying,
Oakridge just understand bird
It's
language?
speaking Orin,
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Gotcha.
that makes sense.
but it is an animal, so she can speak with it.
Yeah. If you wouldn't mind actually showing us a safe path, as far as you're comfortable showing us, it would be
Yeah,
great.
you go that way and avoid the White Devils.
That's it?
Yeah, we fly over them.
Oh,
That
makes
So
sense.
you want to do that, or you could murder them so that they don't steal my nut fruits. I will give you 2 nut fruits if you murder them all, because they steal the nut fruits, and then we don't get them. There's about 8 of them that way.
8 of them?
8 White Devils.
Okay. Well, thank you for the heads up, and I'll.
Be very careful of them.
We will. You have a good day.
Oh, sorry, that's rude.
No, go ahead. Finish eating your. I interrupted your
fruits.
dinner. Yes, your nut
Yes,
fruits.
they're delicious, and it's the only thing we eat, and they're the best.
Okay. We're gonna go ahead now and try to be careful.
Yes, definitely be careful of the White Devils. If you see them with any of our nut fruits,
Kill him.
please murder them.
Okay, enjoy your nut fruits. Just start
Alright,
walking in the
they're
direction.
savage beasts. They don't deserve any of our nut fruits. They take them with no regard.
Is he just shouting this as we're
Have a
walking
good day.
away?
Or is he leaning away?
No, you're walking away.
Why do you feel the need to have conversations with animals? Get the information. They're fucking stupid animals.
Because it
He
worked.
was very
He
intelligent,
was
actually.
very helpful. case you
He
were
told us
wondering.
that there are creatures up ahead, about 8 of them, that are savage beasts that steal their fruit, nut fruit things. And they're called white devils, and they're scary. And we should.
You're just mad that
Avoid
you can't
them.
speak with animals.
Yeah, I think you're
I
just
can
upset.
speak with whatever I want as long as it isn't animals.
I think that's why you're mad, right?
That is
You're just
definitely
jealous?
why.
I'm not jealous. What would I have to talk about with an animal?
They have lots of interesting
The only
things to
communication
say.
I've ever needed to make with an animal is your mount so it doesn't shit on my ship. I barely want to talk with humanoids. I don't feel the need to open up my
Animals
conversation.
have all kinds of interesting things, and they are living creatures just like the
Really?
rest
Is
of
that
us.
why they live outside and shit outside and eat outside?
Yes.
Pretty sure we
Is there
shit
an
outside
issue?
when we don't have the Hartnell.
Yeah.
Yep.
We also are currently living outside as we traverse through this place that is their home. So, anyway, this way. I'll start going.
As this very strange conversation takes place, over the course of the next couple hours, you did succeed. So you're able to keep a lookout for white devils, and it all goes pretty smoothly. You do, in fact, see some scenarios where instead of those little clean little bowls where they were cracked in half, you see many of them just smashed in like those pieces of shells, and so you kind of like see that, take stock, listen for noises, and sort of like make a wide berth to avoid these different sort of pockets of possible white devils, whatever those are.
We don't see any
See
of them.
any, like...
You do see evidence. You do, again, you see those little white tufts of fur. Maybe that's white devil. It's white. But those are usually when the path is a little bit more beaten, so... Moisture. Can't relate.
It's a moisturizer, goddammit.
I mean, he
No, I can
actually
relate to
can
moisturizer.
relate. Yeah.
I can't relate to being moist.
Yeah.
So, who's next?
Can I make a survival check to kind of keep looking out for signs of these white devils?
Yes.
I think you just wanted to say white devils.
He did.
I do.
Is that like coconut? It smells good.
It is, yeah.
9.
Niner.
Oh, we're about to get ambushed.
By some
God
white
damn it.
devils.
You guys are walking along, keeping an eye out, and you see
White devils!
you hear that noise, and there's as you kind of round a corner around a tree, following a little bit of a beaten path, you suddenly, in front of you, are like 3 dozen of those cracked nut fruit shells. Just smashed. Looks like someone went like this and take the stuff and dump the shells did your grandparents have shelled nuts in their house? Yep. What is that? So we like shelled nuts too. Like we like the peanuts with They had walnuts
They
and
have
crackers around and shit.
It's like
thousands
what?
of sealed
It's
nuts.
not-
Did you forage? Were you around right
I
before
guess
the
it's-
agricultural revolution?
Okay, I guess it's not weird for me because we would usually have like bowls of pecans that were
Okay,
fresh
but-
picked
but
from
they
the trees
grow on the
outside.
we live
Yeah.
in Michigan.
Fix Randall.
It's like we entered a Texas roadhouse.
Yeah, I know
and
that
there's
he's-
just nut,
Yeah,
nut
no.
holocaust.
It's like that. Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say, like, I cannot see that little dot. Like, yeah, okay, or it's down there. I was gonna say, if you just make it a little sideways, it'll be totally fine.
No, I had to rotate it entirely.
Randy was looking at.
Hey, you should put that in the Discord. It's really funny. So,
Can you see now? Show me what you see
Yes.
yeah.
I can see.
Yeah. So, anyway, so as you walk around to this, you notice these in some sort of a ledge, and there seems to be like a ravine, and you can hear something. It's shadowy down there, and there seems to be covered with vines, and it seems to be like 2 logs that sort of cross one another, and it's sort of over top of this ravine. It looks like you could walk on the log and hop over this little ravine, but underneath you can hear deep, heavy, like the Triceratops in Jurassic Park. That down in this ravine area, and if you look through, you can't really see anything but a little bit of white fur grazing up and slowly moving down.
How
in this
far across is
The
it?
ravine's probably about 35 feet down or so. Across, probably like almost 20 feet. A little too much to just
We could
jump in
just
one
fly
bound.
across.
I was just gonna signal.
could,
I was
but
gonna
these
signal her like, try not to make noise.
Yeah. So do you want to fly? Because it will. I mean, it's.
Oh, that is true.
We would have to go way up and then across.
So as you look up, there are some vines.
We're gonna Shia LaBeouf this.
I don't know what that means, but it does
Swing
look like you could
across?
monkey bar it a little bit. Is that like the crystal skull?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one saw that.
Oh, so many people saw that. They're really angry about it.
No one cares about that stuff.
It's really bad.
We have bigger fish to fry. Like Pete Buttigieg.
True. They're making a new Indiana Jones, so we can all be
Excited
thrilled
about
by
it.
90-year-old Indiana Jones.
Anyway,
Ugh.
I hope he swings on vines. So there's that. There are also, again, like I said, there's like two crossed sort of like trees, and they seem pretty sturdy. Like it doesn't seem like they'd fall in. It seems like they've been used. And you could kind of walk across and then jump off the end over that. You could try to fly. You could figure out some other way. There seems to be a few options here. You could double back like a quarter mile, fly all the way up, and try to avoid that, but you don't know what's up in the canopies. And you do know from your last go around here, there are very large birds of prey above the canopy that look for people or things that are flying above the canopy.
Do you want to carry certain people,
The
or do you
antler
want me to
birds I
cast
mentioned last
fly?
time.
Yeah.
We're definitely one of
Casting
those.
fly would be
like that.
quieter.
Yes.
He can levitate.
You can. Yes. Okay.
So you want to cast fly? There wouldn't be flapping involved.
Correct.
Does it have verbal components? You might want to
Yeah.
consider that as you sort of whisper to one another. Just that. Again, it's a little bit of ways away. It's not like you're, if you're 35 feet away from me and whispering across the room, I'm not going to be able to hear you, so. And this isn't a loud jungle with ambient noise
I'm
in
just
it.
gonna
So.
stage whisper.
There are
Not too
verbal
bad.
components. Yes.
Okay, so it
I
just
don't know how loud it has to be
it
though.
doesn't
Can
have
you
to be a
whisper?
certain. It doesn't have to be a certain volume.
Yeah.
It just has to. You have to. I mean, it's basically invoking words of power that tap into the weave, as you, in conjunction with somatic and material components, insofar as they are needed. So,
How many people can you?
I think I can only do one person. I can.
you
I can
cast it up.
upcast it.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do that on all of us? 1, 2, 3, 4.
We
Or
would
three
only
of you.
need 3, right? Because he can
Oh yeah. You want me to do that?
just levitate across that log. And I mean, yeah, if you feel like spending the spell slot and it's not gonna.
How wide is the distance?
again, it's a little under 20 feet. If you stay on that log, and you keep moving, your horizontal speed should carry you over that ledge, but you might touch the ground on the other side with levitate. There's a good like 6 to 8 feet, depending on how you judge it, where there's not going to be anything beneath you, and your levitate will stop because you can only stay 20 feet up. But
Right.
if you stay 20 feet above the log,
That's what I was saying. 20 feet above the log.
well,
would
yeah,
count as-
I'm just saying, like, so there is margin for error here with the levitate. It will take a little of. Don't nat one when you do it. Everybody else, if they have fly, is totally fine.
Yeah, it would be a quick way to get over it.
I'll do that. I'll do fly on 3 of us. So that's a 5th level fly.
3 of us?
You're third.
Oh.
Because the flapping was pretty loud.
We'll just very quietly,
Very quiet.
slowly fly over.
You speak the word and sort of the wand over and at yourself. And you've experienced this before. You've experienced this before. This is the first time anyone's ever decided to cast fly on you for any reason
I thought
whatsoever.
you've cast it on yourself with a ring.
Nope. Never had to.
It is really weird.
I've cast it on someone else.
Usually you use your muscles and your body to move forward, and now it's just kind of your brain. So when you think, it almost works. It's almost like you played a video game where if you press down on the joystick, you go up, and then someone swapped it and you didn't know, and you're in the middle of like something important, like right in the middle of doing it. And so now when you press down, you go down. It's really weird. It's like all backwards. The controls are just backwards for you. It's very strange. Roll me an intelligence check.
Be a smart Borb, not a dumb one.
3?
Oh, fuck.
Ooh, 3.
Well, when you've been flying normally
Yeah,
your
no,
entire
it's
life.
pretty weird. So the two of you, and then Icillius, roll me a perception check just to kind of navigate this log well. And
18.
18, okay. That's high enough to see that Icillius is struggling as those two just sort of whoop, right over. Because yours is also very similar to that, even though you manifest actual wings. It's not actual muscles. It's like a magical effect that gives you real lift.
Oh, I thought that they were physical
They
wings.
are, but not in the same. Like you don't have the same physiology, so it's not like this. Like your back doesn't get tired if you were to fly all day, right? Because you can. They're ethereal, so they're magically linked. So it's not super different, but you've also done this before, so
Yeah, before I had them.
yeah. So Icillius sees you struggling and can kind of grab your hand and sort of help you along as like I don't even know how to describe this. Probably how it would feel to be on a movie set and be on one of those rigs that pretend that you're flying and having someone show you the ropes of kind of like, here's how you keep your balance and here's how you do this. Because levitate is, again, it's very similar to fly, except you're a little bit more limited. So you're able to sort of guide. Okay, so with advantage, you can make an intelligence check.
Wouldn't that just be normal then? Because of the exhaustion?
Yes.
Wait, weren't you supposed to roll a disadvantage earlier then?
Well, what was it before?
A 3?
Yeah, I don't think you can get
This
much
is
lower.
a 20 normal.
20?
Yeah.
Okay. So, as he kind of goes like, just think about like moving forward, just like your wings got cut off. Like, move forward. You can both kind of move, and then as you get to the end of the log, Icillius goes, "Okay, you're on your own. Fly free." And he sort of lets go of you, and you sort of. You kind of get it, and he has to back up a little bit and get like what would be your running start for a levitate.
Like teaching someone how to rollerblade. You just kind of like, go.
Okay, go ahead and make me an athletics or acrobatics check. It's very not you, him.
Okay.
Icillius, a very low DC. Don't have one.
I rolled a 3 plus 5.
The DC was 5.
Holy fucking shit, dude.
DC was 5. So you have just
So that
enough.
D20's dead to me.
Just enough in it. Sort of come down and you sort of like do a little levitation parkour where you just sort of lift your feet up as you kind of get close, so it almost feels like a shock absorption, and you can just kind of stand back up. You never actually touch the ground. You can move on. You just hear this wane behind you as you sort of all glide forward like a bunch of weird ghosts. And then at a certain point you can choose to keep walking or you can keep floating just a little bit. You all kind of got the gist now.
I'm gonna keep flying for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Which is how long it lasts.
Just cause.
Alright, so you...
Hey, if I have like an amigo,
Yeah, no,
I'm not
it's-
gonna not use
Your
it.
legs actually like it feels pretty good. Your spine gets a little lengthened from it. Feels a little nice on the back. Yeah, the bottom of your feet were sort of starting to hurt, especially yours. I mean, let's be real. Those boots are more of a fashion statement than they are ergonomic. And, but they do look fly. And that's what's important. So, after about 10 minutes, you all very gently... And now if you ever get fly cast on you again, you kind of get it.
I am so happy to be back on the ground.
Yeah. Which is weird.
And I
It's a
never
weird
thought I would say
statement that you,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Icillius, you can still float if you want to.
He just floats everywhere like a vampire.
Yeah, fuck it.
So, that was your perception. And...
Oh my god, Icillius is just Marceline from Adventure Time. Because she just floats.
Vampire, yeah.
She just floats everywhere she goes.
that was a failure, right? That was like a 7?
It's like an 8.
That was a nat 1, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, God.
Last leg of this journey. So you got over this hazard without anything happening.
You actually have more dice than I do. That is a feat.
Yeah.
It's a problem. Dice.
A lot of them are the cheap.
I think
cheap
I
It's
do
not a
too.
problem.
Dice
What are you
are a
talking? What are you
problem.
talking about? It's not a problem.
How many d20s do you have?
This is just for Alinea.
I'm gonna buy a new set of DMing dice for
I got
campaign
13
2.
right there.
I'm gonna
not
retire
counting.
all of these dice, especially.
You should put them in like a...
These.
Do you have enough to put in like a shadow box or something?
That's what I want to
Yeah,
do.
I think we're gonna build one for everybody. Or
I'm gonna put mine in either like a jar or something, and then put them in the shadow box. And
these have crit so many fucking times.
fuck those dice.
These need to be retired. They're
Right
too
now.
powerful.
retire
the
it
golden
now.
snitches.
But you're also powerful, so
Yeah.
it's a balance.
What was the first one? someone
So
did?
we've done survival, perception, and nature.
Oh, good. Alright. I'm gonna go with
Gonna
this.
intimidate it.
Yeah.
Be a smart girl.
I'm gonna go with history and try and suss out based on the last time we were here, if I can remember
Okay,
some of the path to get there. I'm at disadvantage, so
You are
let's
at
see how this
disadvantage.
goes. 16?
16.
I don't know how to feel about that one.
As you traverse over these, sort of starting to get into like a mixture of this like bramble and these slightly taller trees, but the vines hang down like weeping willows that instead of having leaves or anything are just vines. You start having to walk through them like a hippie's house. Bead curtains just in the hallways of bead curtains. It's the
Like when I
vines.
ran into that fucking bead curtain at the mall store.
Yeah, but just a hallway of them.
Did you accidentally run into a bead curtain?
Yeah, we went to the mall store and I
They're not-
walked sideways into one that was on
The
display.
mall store? Do you mean the
The
mall
sword,
sword
the mall
store?
sword store.
Sleeping tiger for mall swords and disgusting
Wait,
insects.
do you actually fucking know the name?
I knew
of
the
it?
name.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I
Sleeping
know the name of
Tiger.
it too.
It's
Oh.
it's relatively infamous around here for being fucking weird.
Which is the best part about it.
Mm-hmm. So, go through that. You actually got like a limbo area. You finally part the last one. And you see 6 large, white-furred, mammal-looking things on... There's a couple on a couple branches, just sort of hung over top of them. All of them are asleep. There's these little nut fruits all over the place. There's also a couple carcasses. Looks like they're omnivores as well. 2 of which are laying flat on the ground, sort of on vines that seem to be pulled down and made into like a makeshift sort of bedding near a pile of bones and fruit nut shells. It's sort of like a 4-foot high pile. that spans quite the distance, and there's almost this little clearing. It seems like probably where they often sleep. And there's 6 of them. And you go to turn behind and tell everyone, and then right above you, there's a 7th on another large branch. They have 4 arms. It's about probably 12 feet up, and its arm is hanging another 8 feet down, just off to the side. And what do you want to do? On the other side of that, for the record, you do see, because they pulled all these vines down, you do see what looks to be like a cliff side that terminates. And on the other end is a mixture of black pocked with like these green little spaces. Seems like a little bit of the Fae is moving into the Shadowfell. This seems like that big drop off. You're just like a little south or a little north of where you were the first time, because there was a bigger clearing and kind of like 100 feet between the edge of the jungle and.
There's a cliff though.
There does seem to be a cliff past these, from one way or the other, but you are kind of surrounded by these sleeping giant things.
Fuck.
Luckily, you weren't bickering at the time. You think to yourself, and then you sort of turn around and you point, and everyone goes.
Okay. I'm going to. Well, that means verbal though. How close is the one that's above me? How many feet above me is its head?
It's not right above you. It's like behind you, about 10 feet. It's kind of in between.
Don't do anything.
It's in between you and the next person in line, who was about 15 feet back. You're sort of taking the front. So I assume Alenia is the second person.
I'm gonna cast invisibility on all
Is she-
4 of us.
Is it verbal?
It is.
Okay.
Can I try to whisper?
Yes, you can try to whisper.
Okay.
So, roll me. You could choose Arcana or Stealth.
Oh God.
Not gonna be a super high DC because
I'll
it's,
do Arcana.
this is
at
against
least
their
that
passive
one has-
perception while sleeping. So it's not a passive perception is their passive while sleeping is passive perception cut in half. That's the stealth roll you need to, or the Arcana.
12.
12 is good.
Is there a feat that lets you do spells without a verbal component? Or
Sorcerer
am I...
has a origin that you can do.
Okay.
Not an origin, a meta.
I think there
Meta
might be a
magic.
feat.
There's definitely a meta magic that you can do,
Yeah, it lets you
Yeah.
do it without any verbal or.
or somatic
Yeah.
components.
I should probably
I think
pick
it's,
that up as I get higher in a sorcerer.
Is it called like mental magic or something?
I think it's subtle spell.
Subtle spell.
Subtle spell, yeah.
Yep.
So now all of us are invisible.
Okay.
Okay.
So you are all invisible, which means you get advantage on stealth rolls for my exhausted. That's a normal roll. So
I guess
you are all invisible.
I guess I whisper, so we just gotta sneak through.
You can stage whisper so I
Yeah.
can hear you.
So
I-
we just gotta sneak through?
I think that's the best choice we have.
Oh, fuck.
If you
Yep.
have anything that can help us.
You look
Be
to your
quieter.
left and right, and it's very dense. Like unless you wanted to.
Yeah, we don't have Agnier.
You've been 6 hours into this, and your goal is in front of you. To go left or right would be probably louder than going through them, or you could walk far back, somewhere in between here and that ravine, and try to fan out and hope that there's no other.
Look, as long as we don't do anything, like attack, we'll be invisible. So even if they hear us, we just run for it.
Unless they can see us.
Maybe they could see us, but we don't know that. I'm going to assume they probably can't see us.
You can't hold an action while moving, can you?
Well, it depends on what are you trying to do. You
Um,
can't hold a spell.
Okay.
Like, well, I mean, okay.
It'll
so
be in order.
if you,
like
to hold a spell of any level, uses the spell.
Yeah.
It also uses cantrips, but because they're at will.
This is a cantrip that I was looking at.
Okay, so to hold it, it would basically be like casting it in like shooting a blank, I guess.
Let's just.
I just wanted to. Oh yeah.
Let's just slowly.
I mean, you technically would have a surprise round if
Quietly.
you are the first to act.
I know. I was just
Walk
thinking. I
through?
wanted to. That. I guess this will depend. If we start to become noticed, more or less, if they start to like look around for something, like they heard something, I wanted to use thaumaturgy to make a noise coming from a direction.
Yes,
Then you're gonna
us.
pop
It'd be
out of
more of a react.
invisibility.
Oh, you're right. Fuck. You have normal invisibility, not
Yeah.
greater. Like
You would
I
stop
have.
being invisible.
Shit.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
like I
fuck
said,
that then. Never
we're
mind.
just gonna go forward slowly,
Walk it out.
quietly, and if they hear us, we're just gonna sprint towards the cliff.
And jump off.
How far? You said that was like.
No, normally the last clearing you came to, there's like 100 feet between the end of the jungle and the sort of that cliff that you walked down. But that's because the Shadowfell had been encroaching a little bit, and there was like dead trees and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Now it seems like the Feywild is growing into the Shadowfell at this point because of the death of the Fearsmith, and so it's much closer. So if you cross this like 70 feet or so of this like mini clearing, there seems to be a space that they've pulled down the vines on the other side. So I guess from your perspective it would be this way. There'd be like a 15-foot lane or so. I mean, it's still like
Yeah.
bumpy and shit, and there's vines, and you don't know what else is on the other side over top of these bodies. There's some laying in trees and stuff, and you don't know if you can see anything on the other side. There could be some laying in that space. You don't know, but right now you can see 7. One kind of above and over top of you guys, and then the 6 bodies sort of around, all breathing and sleeping. If you made it past the 70 feet, there'd probably be another like 15-ish feet, so roughly 85 feet to the cliff that you could just plummet off if you had to.
Most of us are capable of flying or levitating or something in some way, so we can just
You're
get to
pretty
the
close
cliff
to
and
it. Assuming they don't go and just grab one and eat you in
Let's-
half or something. I don't know.
let's.
They're huge though. They're like just they seem to curl up when they sleep a little bit. The one arm is 8 feet, which means they have roughly a wingspan, including their shoulders. Just by quick head math, because you're so intelligent, they probably have a good 20-foot wingspan. So I mean, like, even if you got kind of far away, they go, you know. So
Alright, sneaky time.
Sneaky time.
Let's go. Try to find the clearest path where you won't bump into anything to walk through this clearing and, like...
My stealth has gone from a +7 to a +2, so this will go real good.
normal rolls for my exhausted,
And you have advantage for...
and advantage for you two.
us.
29.
29's pretty good.
That's gonna be a big luck point.
Okay.
That was a
16 for me.
16,
A 9.
9,
Oh boy.
29.
What'd you roll?
That's a 6.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Open the vines. You head out. You want to head left or right?
Which looks
Because
better.
what do you mean? Which looks better? It's. Do you want to make a perception roll and sort of stop and take stock before you walk out?
Yeah?
Do you want to as well?
Yes.
Okay. So first up, you get to make a perception roll. Not you yet.
Yeah.
You can't see really past. It's kind of a thing like you literally have to like hold the sort of weird vine curtain for one another. You're able to step under the sort of like arm that's off to the side and move around.
12.
12 looks kind of equal. I mean, they're roughly it's like 3 on each side. There's 2 in front of this big pile, There seems to be two kind of like at different distances kind of around the edges, and then there's two different branches, one's lower and one's higher. This is from your perspective, so looking in. They're kind of on these big wide branches and kind of like hugging them with their arms hanging down off of them, all breathing deeply. So with the 12 it feels pretty equal to you. It's more like a coin toss at this point.
I guess left then.
Alright, so Professor steps out left and begins walking very slowly, a few feet, about 10 feet, and then you can open. So you open it up and you wanted to make a perception to see which way to go?
Well, I'm gonna follow her because she already
she's
did
invisible. So, look out.
Perception. 13.
13? Same deal.
I'll go left.
Okay. So you go left. Start to head out. You see the vines close and you can walk through. Push.
Do so.
You just want to walk out?
And take a look and see if I
Okay,
can
roll
tell
perception check.
where they went.
I should have made you roll a coin flip, but I'll make you roll a coin flip if you...
And everything. 13.
13? Coin flip it. Give me a D...
If you want me to coin flip,
No,
I
it's
can.
fine.
I actually have a Kraken coin in my bag.
However you want to do it. You can just go odds and evens with a dice or whatever. So, heads will be left, tails will be right.
It's a Kraken.
Left?
That's it.
Alright, left it is. Alright, and then Icillius, you kind of glide underneath without stepping onto the ground. You see the vines fold shut, and you open them. Did you want to make a perception check as well?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
22.
22. You don't see a better path necessarily, given the fact that you're levitating. To the left, there seems to be a lot more shells. To the right, there's more of these beasties. So it just kind of depends on what you want to do. Given you're levitating, it seems like maybe the left path is best for you. But with a 22, you do notice something very interesting. There seems to be something very shiny in that pile of bones and nuts in the middle of all those. And with a 22, you can tell there's absolutely something made of mithril in there.
God damn it.
Seems something that they couldn't necessarily eat with their teeth, and it just went into the bone pile. So possibly not the most intelligent creatures, but you can tell, you can see that little pearlescent sort of metal. It's up to you if you want to go for it, but do you want to head left or right, given that information?
Can I move closer to the shiny?
You can't. You'd have to go. Yeah, you can. What was your stealth roll?
16.
16. Yours was 29. Yours was 6.
Yeah.
And yours was
9.
9. Okay. So yeah, 16. You have to beat their passive perception as they're sleeping by half. Okay. So, none of you see where each other are at, but Icillius, your passive perception is high enough to where you can hear a very clear of these little pieces of slightly getting brittle, old, dead shell husks underneath. Leather? and underneath some sort of probably metal. Seems like Professor and Elenia are a little stumpy. So, Icillius, no one knows you're doing this, but did you want to go towards the shiny? So you're going towards the shiny.
Yes.
There are two of these large beasts to your left and right that you can hover over top of with levitate, making no noise. And it's not like you have like downforce, so they don't feel it. So you're over top, and you look down to the shiny pile, and there are... Again, it's like kind of near the top. It looks like some sort of like metallic like case of mithril. Underneath, you can see it glimmering underneath like bones and shells. It'll be... What's that one game?
Jenga?
No, the game with all the sticks and the ball.
I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. Oh
That
shit.
stupid game. It was like Don't Break the Ice. Same people made it. What's that? What?
He's dying.
What the fuck are you saying to me?
You roboted, Randy. What did you say?
It's not pachinko.
Kerplunk.
Kerplunk. It's Kerplunk. It's kind of like Kerplunk. You definitely can see. This is not a structure. This is them just tossing it. So you could try to grab it and it could slip and fall down in there and just the whole thing goes. Psh. You could also pull it out like Jenga and the whole thing stays pretty structurally intact. There's a little space for your hand.
I'd argue that's more like Operation.
It's a little operation-y, little Jenga, little Kerplunk. It's got all sorts of Hasbro in it. So,
Kerplunk was Mattel.
and also I think Operation was
Parker Brothers.
Parker Brothers. Yeah. Anyway, so doesn't matter. Fuck your brands.
How do
So
you guys know that?
Because I
we
did.
had childhoods
I
that were
forgot.
unhappy, but
I-
this is all we
I
had.
never played Kerplunk. I don't even know what the fuck
Well,
that
you had to
is.
have
Did you guys ever play
friends.
Doink Daddy?
Yeah.
That
Those are
sounds
fun.
familiar.
The
That's
also
the guy
the
that
guy with the
sits
booger
up.
Yep.
and doesn't matter. Mousetrap.
I had a crocodile hunter
I love
game.
Mousetrap.
shit was
Cool.
Mousetrap was cool,
Mousetrap
but I
was
never
so
had any
good.
friends that wanted to play it.
Wow, that's sad.
We played
You just play
Candyland.
it by yourself.
Oh, Candyland.
The best part about Mousetrap is just setting it up and watching it go. No one likes to play
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mousetrap.
100%.
So you can try to get this little thing.
Randy's
or-
trying to dunk on me, and he's being roboted as a karmic justice. So,
I don't know why you're a
Oh,
robot.
wait.
Oh.
I don't know, my
'Cause
ping is great over here.
because he's an asshole,
Yeah.
that's why.
Anyway, so what do you want to do?
I'm gonna go for it.
God damn it, why?
Give me that sleight of hand.
Hell yeah, I respect.
Nothing
Hell
ventured,
yeah.
Nothing gained.
I'd do it too.
It's a monkey paw.
Nat 20, so 25.
Woo! Nat 20?
Yeah.
You reach your hand in. It's kind of around. You sort of hover to the side, and you grab it by your fingertips, and you have to strain to keep it straight. And there's a little... And the only thing that moves is like a little bone at the end that was being supported by it. It just goes... Other than that, you pull it out. It seems like it's like a, what was that, like 2.5, 3 foot long cylinder with caps at the end, and they seem to be rune locked. It seems to be like a very important scroll case made of mithril. So there could be something cool in it. You don't know what's in it. The weight feels pretty even. It doesn't feel like it has like liquid in it. It certainly doesn't have like coins or it's not going. So it could be something very valuable in there. If not, the scroll case itself is incredibly valuable, but these runes are definitely activated, so it hasn't been opened. Slip that into your little pack. Roll me a d20.
Oh.
When do I use? You choose.
Well, this is not that big a deal, so just...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
2.
2. You don't notice this happening.
Oh, okay.
With your passive perception, you're kind of focused on the task at hand.
Yeah.
So, Icillius, you put that into your pack. And need a dexterity saving throw from you, and a dexterity saving throw from you.
You guys are real good at those.
As you both, kind of at the same time, step awkwardly onto this area that looks like bedding, but it seems to be... Well, you'll see if you fail. It looks like the vines that are laid out in bedding.
I'm gonna use my lucky rabbit's face.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Technically, my shield
No.
says can use. Okay.
Well, this is not a magical effect. It's literally just
but
like
it's not for magical effects. It's just if
it's not technically. What do you... Okay, explain how
I
losing
don't
your
know.
footing and grabbing your shield helps you.
could land on the shield for.
You're going to land on the shield? You can absolutely play the drums right now if you'd like to.
God damn it!
You can
Am I-
play...
Picture
Yeah, that sounds... You could totally try.
plate on metal.
No, whatever. Fuck off. So
I
rude.
meant it for magical effects like a fireball or something.
14.
If you can... Tell you what, though. If you can come up with a reason that it would work, I'm fine with that. Kind of the idea is that you can...
Her
use
shield
your
is
strength for
secretly vibranium.
it. It's not. What was the roll?
14.
14?
16.
16. Okay.
Oh wait, can I?
What? You don't have to. You saved.
Okay.
You're good. But you can. Whatever you want to do, you can. You don't have to, though.
No, I'm
You're
good.
fine. Good?
Yeah.
Alright, I don't want to steal your thunder here.
No,
Okay,
I'm
you had a
good.
cool idea. Go for it. Okay, so you both kind of stepped, and you didn't realize you were that close to one another. Your gait is a little bit longer. And there's this, like, what looks to be like a softer, there's no shells, and you were kind of worried about stepping on the shells. There's this... By the way, you are barely beating the passive perception, but they're so fucking dog shit that you had to go through something. Like, you had to go through something. So, it's almost like a vine rug that's laid over, and you both sort of go to step on it separately at like 5 feet away from each other, and both your feet start to, because there wasn't anything underneath it, and you're able to put your foot back. It's almost like you missed a step, but were able to catch it, like walking downstairs, and you suddenly get this waft of stink.
We almost fell in their poop
They
hole.
almost fell in their poop hole.
God damn it.
They had a little bit of a poop hole, and they covered it up, so they're a little intelligent. And the one next to you, with disadvantage, is gonna see if they smell it. 2 and a 5. You hear,
You're just barely better than dog
and
shit.
it just rolls to the other side, away from it, and you hear.
Is it farting? Is this a fart?
You just sort of walk around it.
Oh yeah, it's fine. Right.
You're getting closer to the sort of
To the butt
vines.
zone.
Icillius, you can kind of curl around. Velios, you are free and clear. You are using like the tips of your toes that you can kind of hold yourself up on every once in a while. Just kind of placing steps perfectly, and you end up there before everybody else. You don't
Almost
know
like
this
an ice
necessarily.
skater just gliding
Yeah,
around.
you're kind of you're like very graceful. 29,
Yeah.
beautiful. You get to the entrance, and you kind of hear this fart, and you hear a little bit of a from one of them. You kind of hear the little crunchy steps, and as you turn around, you kind of see just this little glint near the pile, and then it's gone. Icillius, as you move around and keep going, there is a moment where the one to your right that's on the branch sort of moves and shifts really quickly, and it spooks you a little bit. Roll me a Constitution save. What the fuck is wrong with
You're
this?
roboting out.
What was it?
He's indomitable.
Okay.
It was right on that line. That's better. 22.
22. Almost instinctively, you, like, want to move hard to your left away from this movement, but you realize you're close
Stone
enough to this
cold.
pile still to, like, affect it, and you just, you kind of brace, you hold, and you're good, and you move through with a little butthole pucker.
It's like the Kobe flinch.
Yeah. Yeah, it's literally that. And you reach, and you can kind of hear the footsteps, and you can kind of whisper to your friends at this point, okay, we're all here. Because you can perceive pretty much everybody at this point. And there's about a 15-foot lane, and then another 15 feet after that is the ledge, and you're almost there.
We'll just keep going.
Keep going. And at the end, you can start to hear breathing off to the right. One more. I need everyone to roll me a stealth check one more time.
God damn it.
So
Remember-
if you're exhausted, just the normal. If you are not used
Yeah.
to, get advantage.
17.
Advantage just saved my ass. 18.
Okay.
19.
DC's pretty low.
20.
20?
I rolled an 18 that time. Oh my
You all head out. It's sleeping just on the edge of one of these, and it seems like this one was hoarding some extra nuts or something, and it also has a dead chicken-like thing. Actually, have you ever seen one of these?
A dead chicken.
No. I don't think we've ever seen one of these in this game. It's kind of looks like a chicken buzzard. It's long, it's pretty ugly. But its neck is clearly broken. And its eyes were gouged out.
That seems unnecessarily cruel.
You can roll a nature check. Or a history check. Whichever
We'll
one's...
do history.
Okay.
12.
12? That's just enough, like... It's kind of related. This is a cockatrice. Are you familiar with cockatrices in real life?
Yes.
Okay. This is... The reason its eyes are gouged out is
'Cause
it
it
can
turns stuff to
turn shit to
stone.
stone.
Yep.
Oh, it's like
Yep.
a chicken Medusa.
Yep.
Yes. That's actually the best description of a
Yeah,
cockatrice.
it's a chicken. I mean, it doesn't have like snake hair, but yeah, it's it does this. It does a
Are
very
they-
similar thing.
Typically just native to the Feywild, or they
No, they
appear-
kind of like they native to
Okay.
material plane as well. There's a little bleed over, it seems.
That's a scary ass
In my
bird.
setting, this is where they come from, and they just sort of like.
Diffuse.
Well, history check with a 12, you would know this, so it's fine if I tell you. They lay really nice eggs, and so people farm them. Actually, this was one of my first ever D&D encounters of all time, and we lost. We just all turned to stone. Luckily, Mikey, they were kind enough to not end the campaign there, and we woke up shortly after, and the farmer was like, sorry about that. But yeah, they lay really nice eggs, and they're sort of like a product of the Fae that people have. It's kind of like when any settler brings over something and it becomes a new like corn or whatever. Yeah, it's so that's the reason. And you know them, they're birds, but you guys fucking can't stand these guys. They're so fucking dangerous to have, but the eggs are super valuable. So typically what happens is they'll hire blind people that can't see them to work in them, or they'll not blind themselves like postpartum, but they'll put blinders on it or something but these guys just eat them apparently. You've never eaten a cockatrice? Don't know if they're good.
How intelligent are they? Do they have like
Cockatrices?
typical poultry
I
intelligence?
think they're pretty dumb. I
That's
think
pretty
the
great.
intelligence is probably 1 or 2 in game, but yeah, or maybe 3. I don't know. But you come to the edge. You are all invisible. You can't really see one another, but you're able. And Icillius is able with your combined passive perceptions to kind of coordinate with one another. You are on the edge of this, and you look down, and vines have grown along this steep cliffside that used to just be rocks that I think you guys flew down last time, but...
Yep. We could just fly down again.
However you want to do it.
I'll just fly down.
I'll carry Professor.
Okay.
That way we don't have to use another spell.
Sure. Does Icillius, do you just want to free fall until you hit levitation?
Yeah, assuming that's not going to crunch my bones when it stops me.
It won't.
Yeah, let's do that.
Alright. So you land first. The invisibility lasts for an hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you guys are still invisible for a good 40 minutes or so, half hour if you want to stay that way.
Yeah, I'll just scoop up Professor and fucking start flying down.
Okay, and as you look out over this ravine, you can see with your goggles where Sorrow's End was. And I guess is, but just in kind of a different form. You can see little pockets of green, like I said. And it's actually more to your right. So you did come a little shallow. Was a little shallow on your approach here compared to last time. But, yeah, it's off to your right a little bit, so you're not traversing quite the same terrain on the way there. But, yeah, it seems like a pretty straight shot. However you guys want to get there is up to you. It's about half a day's journey, and you're kind of at the end of this day if you want to take a rest. Or you can push through. You can see the light changes. It's very strange. When you're heading down, there's pockets where there's still stone instead of that vine. And if you pass through it, it's almost like passing underneath a shady tree. There's the light actually physically changes and the sky changes as you enter these different pockets. You go from Feywild with this ever-setting sun to suddenly it's a very dim black sky with this like almost like moonlight, and then back to it.
Biome change.
Yeah.
We should probably make camp here. It's relatively safe now, right?
There's the Shadowfell still.
Yeah.
And the Fey.
I can
Tiny
do
hut,
a
though.
tiny
Yeah, we
hut.
have a tiny hut.
Yeah, I'll do that.
We'll do that and then set up watches. Same as last time.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I'll try and make it a color as close to sort of the surrounding area as possible, as to disguise it as much as you can.
Okay. You can either disguise it against the ground or the wall behind you, if you want to stay against this wall.
Wall.
Okay. So it'd be more of a greenish.
Sure.
Alright. You do so. Is anyone taking a watch tonight?
I'll take first watch.
Kind of let it go, or
We're doing the same shift as last time.
which was what?
Me first.
Then Icillius
So, and
and
then-
then us two.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So you cast Tiny Hut with no problem. Last time you were here, it was definitely not super hospitable. But kind of the mix of the Feywild makes it a little bit different. It's not too bad. Is there anything while you're setting up? You guys kind of have a little bit of time if you want to talk about it.
Before we start tucking it in, I found this weird mithril-looking thing in a pile of nutshells and bones, Professor.
It
Not really
suddenly
my kind of
dawns
thing,
on
but I
you
don't know
that
if you can figure it out.
in the middle of all of that, Icillius decided to loot.
So that's what that glint was.
What? Wait, did you?
Yeah, he did.
What?
What? I respect it.
As much as I find what you did to be a terrible idea, I definitely want to see it. Gimme.
Gimme. You can tell she's an only child.
She does that in real life. We open a box and she's
I
like,
know.
That's true.
yeah. Yeah, it is.
I never had to learn to share.
Neither
That's
did
okay.
I, but I don't feel like I'm that grabby.
I'm also a bitch. So,
God damn it.
Okay, so yeah, your whole it's like a it's probably about as wide as like a Red Bull can, and it's about 3 feet long, and it's got little caps on the end that are made of the same thing, and on either end is a seems to be Sylvan and designed rune on either side that's locking it shut.
It's Sylvan in design, but I can't read it because it's a runic.
Yeah, you're not a caster. It's like it's basically you recognize it as Sylvan, but you recognize it as arcane runes.
sure.
So
Well, I can try and dispel magic on it. That would probably open it. If it dispelled whatever the runes are doing to keep it locked.
Might as well. We're about to go to bed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your call.
I'll cast... Fuck it. I'll cast an 8th level dispel magic on it.
okay,
On specifically the end caps.
okay. As you cast dispel magic on it, the caps blink off. Then from the inside you hear doop, doop,
Uh-oh.
doop.
Is the rate speeding up? Oh fuck! Ah!
I'm gonna grab it. I'm gonna grab it and run out of the fucking tiny hut and unscrew the end.
Doop, doop, doop,
Look inside.
doop. Inside is what looks to be a piece of like rolled up paper. Doop,
Grab the paper.
doop, doop,
Is the paper beeping?
doop, doop,
Is this beeping?
doop.
Set it down!
Beeping! I'm gonna put them
Thing
down.
Pulled out.
No, grab the paper!
The paper is
Okay.
beeping.
The paper's
The paper!
beeping!
Yeah, there's a little wrap around the middle of it, and there's a little seal on it, and it's going boop, boop.
Ah, read it! Wait,
I'm grabbing
this?
the
What's
seal.
say?
What is the
Can't
seal?
move the seal. Boop, boop.
Professor, the seal! The seal! Coming!
I don't know.
I'm running in. Dispel it! Dispel it!
The
Dispel
7th
it!
level dispel magic. 7th level dispel magic. It stopped. Oh God!
Take that fucking paper.
I take it.
I'm gonna go grab the scroll case
It's
from
still got the
out.
thing on it, but it's not beeping.
Is the seal actually have like the
It just looks.
you know how some seals have like people's.
Yeah, no, it's like just another rune. You don't know what it says, but you know it's arcane.
Shut
All
the
right,
fuck
I'm gonna
up.
try and open it up.
Yeah, easy enough. It just snaps off of this like little gold coil, and it's like really nice paper. You guys sort of freaked out for a little bit. Out in the middle of the ground over there, and you did run into the darker Shadowfell. You can just see a little bit of a glint of this mithril
I'm gonna
tube.
go grab it.
Okay. You go grab it, and when you touch it, the two caps go, and they click back into place.
Okay, I'm gonna take it and just put it in the bag of holding.
Okay.
Did they seem to like reactivate the locking mechanism as well?
Yeah,
or-
those runes on the end go boop. But the inside is fine. Doesn't seem to have reacted to their touch. So you got this.
Where's
It
the
almost
paper?
feels like super fine leather. I've been offering that to you for like a week.
It was fine, and now it's not fine
Okay.
anymore.
Yeah, that chair should be just fine. You can also use that pillow for your butt. I do suggest in between sessions that maybe we go get some chairs, everybody. I bought this round, so you can get yourself a nice little chair for your butt.
I'm gonna buy a new gaming chair soon. I'm just breaking the other one over.
Hey, however it works.
That's so much better.
Yeah. Ooh, you look real tall and shit. Woo!
What's up?
6'2". Rose for UC Davis. Okay. So that's a league meme
Yeah,
I think
it's
he gets.
T1.
So I think it's 6'4", but anyway.
Close enough.
You are ridiculously tall on the camera now.
Yeah, no, that's great. No, everyone thinks Alex is very, very tall and slender. So I have an 8-pack. It's a fantasy game. Fine. So you should see his
8-pack?
mane underneath the
No.
hat.
Yikes.
It's ridiculous. You have this scroll of very fine It's like vellum. Like very soft.
I don't know what that is in real
Vellum.
life.
Oh, shit. Why? Read a book. It's
I've never touched that before
it's
in my
organic
life.
material, but you know it, right? Do you know what vellum is?
Kind of.
It's made. Well, vellum is made of like sheepskin, and it's very very soft. But this is like very fine. When you unroll it, it is in Sylvan.
Who here reads Sylvan? Alright, take a crack at this.
Icillius, you look at it, and it seems to be a series of words you don't understand. As you read it silently to yourself, and there's a little design at the bottom.
He understands none of the words.
He understands the words, just not in. Doesn't like he can say them. Like, I mean, do you want to say them out loud?
Yeah, I'll try to read it out loud.
Okay.
Oh, so, I'm gonna cast tongues then if he's gonna read it out loud.
There you go.
Do you want to cast tongues?
Yes, I do so.
Okay. So you cast tongues. He starts to read it out loud, and then you go, "Why did I cast tongues?" Because you still don't understand necessarily what it means, because they're not real words. But then it dawns on you.
Is this a coded message?
No. Just like you cast normal spells, these are the verbal components, and these are just Sylvan words to tap into the weave. So, while they don't necessarily mean anything in tongues, because kind of that's not how it works necessarily, it does give you some clarity to it, and you can kind of pronounce it better now. As he sort of speaks, it's similar to Elvish, but it's almost like hearing someone speak Cantonese really fast, and maybe dabbling and learning Cantonese yourself, where it's just like very fluent and very very like plucky, and almost a little sing-songy at the same time. He does it, and you look down at, and you kind of look over his shoulder as he reads it out loud to you, and the tongues is sort of letting you can follow along a lot easier.
Sure.
If you roll an intelligence check or an arcana check, with his help, you can just roll normal.
Okay.
You'll be able to discern what this is for.
Okay. Oh boy.
No pressure.
Yeah. The DC has been lowered because you cast tongues.
What kind of check was it again? Just
Arcana or straight intelligence. I'm assuming Arcana's better.
23?
23. There's a spell scroll for Delayed Blast Fireball.
Oh no.
But it has another element to it.
Which is?
It has an acid setting.
Oh no.
I need this scroll for purposes.
You do
What is
recognize
it?
that this is you don't have a lot of arcane knowledge. You do recognize this is definitely an evocation spell, which is typically destructive. You picked up a little bit from Julia as she was alive. Other than that, you don't really know what's going on. But Professor, she gets very excited.
Professor, what does it do?
It's magic related, and I need it for magic reasons.
Does it blow up?
Is that relevant to whether or not I need it?
Your defensiveness tells me that's probably a yes.
Okay, how many times has me blowing something up been a good thing?
A lot.
Several. How many times has me blowing something up been a bad thing?
Actually, 0.
Also
To this
zero.
point.
So,
In this lifetime, 0.
Well, you don't get a reset just because you die.
I would argue I definitely do.
It is a new body.
Sort of a new mind.
Yeah.
Definitely
I'm not
different
gonna
drinking
stop you.
habits.
Maybe a partial reset.
use it wisely, please.
Have I ever not used
Yep.
spells wisely?
Yes.
Name one time specifically that you are aware of.
Just one time.
Really? You're gonna make me list a very specific instance?
Yes.
God, we've
The
been
first
through
thing that
so
comes to
much.
mind is getting her face eaten by a book.
That was not involving me casting a spell. That was involving me delving into a cursed book.
I feel like these goalposts are on wheels here.
Alright, well, I'm taking it. If
Yeah.
I want to add this to my spell book, do I
would-
need someone's help to, like,
Nope.
his? To...
Nope, now that you understand it, that was what the Arcana check was for.
Okay. So it works like Delayed Blast Fireball, but it can be changed to
You can do acid if you'd like.
damage. Interesting, okay.
So, I believe the time it takes is an hour per level, right?
2 hours per level.
2 hours per level? Is that like a 7th level spell? So 14
Yeah,
hours or something?
I'll have to wait till we get back
Kind
to
of
the
a ways
hard
off,
one,
but I think you have the materials for it.
I do.
Yeah. But yeah,
You were literally
it's
just
a
talking
big
about
boy.
copying stuff, too.
Yeah. It
Alright.
almost exploded on you, by the way. That was what that was.
I have a scroll case, by the way, it locked again.
And you ran back
So we
into the
can sell
fucking
it.
hut with it. I was so excited. I was like, is this how it ends?
Did we just get suicide bombed by a Len?
It was gonna be fucking close.
That's why I was like, no, I'm gonna go back in and make her dispel it. Like,
It was so close. Alright. So,
That scroll case is probably worth a lot too.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold on to it in the bag so we can probably sell it later.
you can also use it if you'd like. Seems to be
Do we
pretty-
know how to open it without using a dispel magic?
You did not study it whatsoever.
Yeah.
You just decided to
I could
shoot
look
magic
at
at
wanna-
it, so...
Here.
When we're done, we're doing this
Yeah,
shit.
we'll
I'll
cross that
take a
bridge
look
later.
at it.
Yeah. It would probably
Write
take...
it in your
It
inventory.
would probably... Write Sylvan on it as well, because it would almost certainly take knowledge of Sylvan. But yeah, you do have that. Good find, Icillius.
Huzzah.
That could have gone so poorly. You guys have been
That
very
would
good
have been
today.
hilarious
Yep.
if that would have exploded inside the tiny hut.
I mean, it's only 12d6.
Yeah, I could have taken it.
I could
Is
have. I
that
mean,
72 damage?
we all could have
Worst
taken
case,
it.
I could have
except for-
died and come back. It's fine.
You have Death Ward on you, so you would
Yeah,
have
that's
just,
average
do,
damage.
yeah.
I don't know what I roll over
You
here. I
would've-
roll pretty well sometimes. So.
you would have just died and then popped back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool spell down. I'm pretty excited that you guys found
Alright,
that.
it's sleepy time.
Okay.
Agreed.
All your watches...
Who's on first watch?
all your watches go fine unless you want to do any RP stuff in the middle of them.
Talk to myself.
Okay.
I'm good.
So your watch goes fine. It doesn't seem like things hang out on this border very often. This is kind of something you experienced last time. There seems to be a trepidation by both sides to flop over to the other side pretty often. Those big white devils seem to be the thing that are least affected by the intimidation of the Shadowfell there. But they're humongous, so maybe that's why. They have a lot of confidence.
8-foot arms. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
The lack of intelligence might help too.
Yeah, they're not super bright. So your watch goes fine. Icillius, as you take watch, you just start getting anxious. You're not really scared anymore. There's a little pit in your stomach as you get closer to the Caraptus and having to go back in there. But more, it's like these people have given you hope. I mean, Icillius, Professor, everybody, Jordan, been great. Alenia specifically has just always sort of lit the way, both literally and metaphorically, as this sort of like calming presence among the chaos of kind of everything. And you're getting close to being able to hopefully reunite with Julia. Like that, you kind of haven't let yourself entertain the thought that it could be happening, because it would feel like losing her again. But you start thinking about cleaning up the old house and having people over for dinner and enjoying the next bountiful day together. And you start to entertain these thoughts that maybe you'll be able to have the life you want. It might be delayed by a decade or so, and a lot of bad shit's happened, but if you can get her back, and you and these people can somehow keep the bad shit from ruining everything, you can set down your guns forever and maybe even start a family. Who knows? You're not quite too old for that yet. And even though you're looking over this desolate, hopeless landscape, you might be the only person awake on this entire plane of existence that is looking forward to traveling deeper into the Shadowfell. And your watch comes to an end peacefully. You can wake up the other two and however you like.
Yeah, I'll just nudge them both on the shoulder and curl up.
Okay. You, as you've been sort of zoning out, you nudge them and you look behind you, and Icillius, you have this, like, sort of basic needs set up. You don't need a lot of comfort, and then you see Icillius, cracker crumbs on his chest, a little bit of leftover caviar in this little tin. You see a tipped over bottle of that, like, bubbly stuff he was eating, and his incredibly padded bedroll. What a fucking weird guy. So the two of you are awoken. If you want to do anything, you don't have to.
Normally I'm kind of shit at actually watching out for the party, so I feel like naturally I'm gonna drift to, I guess, like, I'm definitely worried about Icillius' mental state, so I'm gonna keep checking to see, like, I hope he's not, like, having nightmares or something.
Doesn't seem to be. In fact, don't roll on your chart when you wake up. Icillius.
He's AFK.
Rip.
Rip.
Guess he's rolling. Fuck him.
Fuck him.
Actually seems really peaceful.
Did you hear?
Yeah,
Rip.
Wisconsin internet is dope.
it's on your
Get the
end. but
cheese
the
out
thing
of your
is-
line.
My internet was cutting out before I got here, and
Might be the Wi-Fi.
I was afraid it was gonna be like
Fucking Spectrum, man.
you know.
I have a really solid upload rate. I don't know. Okay, for campaign 2, we have a plan. So, you check on Icillius. He seems to be sleeping soundly.
Yeah,
Anything
I'm
else
just
you wanna do?
gonna stay up and watch.
Okay, anything you want to do? No? Good? Have a good time? Totally ignoring me?
What?
Hi.
Sorry, I was reading the chat. I
Do you want to
apologize.
do anything?
No.
Okay.
Just
That's fine. I just didn't want to presume.
What are you eating?
Take 5. It's taken me 3 days to eat this.
oh,
And I'm on my last one.
is it one of the Reese's ones? Those are the bomb.
Yeah, the pretzels inside? So
Yeah.
good.
What the fuck?
Yeah, they're pretty lit.
You never had one?
No.
You want those little bit?
Yeah, I'll take a bite. Don't throw it. I'm gonna miss it.
Here.
It's gonna get on the
I can catch
ground. Thank you.
They're very good. They have little pretzels inside there, chocolate, little peanut butter. You like that shit? It's good shit. I like those a lot.
That is good.
No, I'll get them again if you want. So, you wake up. Shadowfell lies in front of you. Take the time. You still have plenty of time in the dome to put your bedrolls back together, clean up your cracker crumbs.
Is the level of exhaustion gone?
Nope.
Oh shit.
you're both still weirdly exhausted.
Not a fan of that. I'll figure that out later, I guess.
I'm gonna need you two lazy bones to get up.
But the bed feels so comfortable and warm.
It really is.
And outside is not comfortable.
We have a friend to help today.
You see Icillius sitting there sort of cross-legged, cleaning out his gun.
Were you gonna redo Death Ward or anything? Or should I get rid of the stuff?
Also aid.
Death Ward. And... yeah, we'll toss another 8 on all 3 of you.
So same shit as before?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not even gonna move my health then. 'Cause it's
Yeah. Alright. So, you look across and you see this black, rocky terrain interspersed with a single green tree every once in a while that seems to be fruiting. You see these weird spires. You see little stacks of steam from little bubbling pools. You see empty fields of just flatness. You see a couple places, as you were looking out over top, you saw a couple places where there's just like a ravine you have to jump over or something, or traverse. So, half a day's travel. We need 2 skill challenges to get to Sorrow's End. But I will tell you, it is more dangerous here. A single failure is what you have to work with. So consider wisely.
As in one single... oh, yeah, there's only 2. Duh.
Yeah.
Never mind.
2 successes, 1 failure to work
We'll
with.
do perception. Because I kind of... we've already been here before, and I know the exact, I guess, way it is. Just to make sure we stay on...
Yep.
like a,
you know that you definitely know the as the crow flies, so to speak.
Yep.
You
make
definitely
sure
know
we
that.
Stay on target.
Okay. Just give me a perception roll.
Fuck me. 13?
13? Okay.
Ready to fight?
Hold on.
Roll me a d12.
Oh, I actually don't have any d12s out. Do you have a d12?
I can roll it if you want.
Oh, yeah, I don't have any out.
Okay.
Why do you not have any
I don't
out?
Well,
use
do you want
12s.
your fate in my hands, or your fate in your hands?
I can pull one out real quick.
Okay. You might be able to avoid a situation. There's sometimes it's just interesting things. Because you didn't roll a crit, like a normal fail. I have a couple of things going on here, so.
1.
1? Better than you think.
Oh.
So, as you traverse through, you see these very awful looking, tiny little beastie looking things. They're on 2 legs, they have short little arms, and they're sort of skittering across this rocky landscape. I forgot to change the song. They have the tops of their bodies are like toothy maws, and they have like eyes like flounders on the side of their
I
heads,
hate that.
and they kind of go at each other, and they sort of lean forward. And they're just running in between these sort of... They look like trees without branches from afar, but they're just these rocky spires that sort of go up. They sort of... in between them into like little holes at the bottom. And there seems to be a subterranean. As you walk past them, they seem to not know... Like, there's too many of you, it seems. But they seem to be... posturing towards finding a weakness in whatever's going on, trying to find someone to chomp at. But they're not hiding at all. They don't seem very bright. They seem like their numbers are meant to overwhelm, kind of like piranhas. And they're kind of looking.
How many of them are there?
Dozens.
And how far away are they from us?
Some of them get as close as 10 feet as you walk through this area.
Where's that fucking spell at? Hold on.
There we go.
It
And-
seems like they're skittish of us.
They're again, it's kind of like fish, where if you've ever been in like a shallow pool where you can see the fish in there, and you kind of put your foot in, they'll scatter, and then as you sit, they kind of slowly
Like crabs.
swim. They slowly swim
Crab,
back towards,
crab.
and then as you kind of move again, they'll.
I'm gonna cast light on the end of Solarion,
Okay.
and then just kind of like hold it forward.
Why were you looking for that spell?
No, I wasn't. It
Were
was
you
a
looking for
different
the
spell.
sun thingy?
No, I'm looking for a
Okay.
different spell just
Okay.
in case.
So light on the end, and you see many of them go. So they avoid you, and they seem to be going towards the back area where isn't. And then like as you walk forward, it's not super dark here. It's just kind of like bright moonlight. But they.
I'm gonna cast Thaumaturgy, and if any of them get near me, I'm gonna yell at them very loudly.
If you want to make a big loud noise, go for it. What are you saying? Because they definitely are getting near you.
Okay. Oh god. Fuck off!
Okay.
It
Roll
says
me
it's
an-
3 times as
Roll
loud.
me an intimidation check. Just normally, you don't have to do the disadvantage on it.
20.
Okay. See, several of them really avoid you. And then Avelios, as you kind of are walking forward, see a couple of them getting a little bit brave near you. They back off a little bit. You guys sort of walk through. Seems like a good mile of these spires, and you can see just dozens and dozens of them, like fucking cockroaches. They.
Just need a nougat. Just a nougat.
Did you want to do anything, or you just want to kind of maintain this?
I'm gonna try to hold Solarion out if I see any of
Okay,
them
so
start to
kinda
get
like-
really brave.
Kind of like Gandalf.
Yeah, we're kind of clearing the
One of
way.
these.
Or like, I'm thinking of like, in Twilight Princess, there's a section where you have to wave a lantern around to clear the like smoke and
Oh, okay.
kind of like that.
Okay.
Is this Stardew Valley music?
Do either of
Sounds
you
like
want to? Sometimes a little bit like the caves, a little bit, or the wintertime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not really much I can do
Well, you
besides
never know.
pull my katanas out.
Do you want to pull your katanas out?
Yeah, sure, we'll walk with them out.
Okay. So you. Shink. Pull them out. Roll perception check.
24?
24. You can hear them sniffing your swords. As you walk through, you're sort of moving the light. Give him a good fuck off earlier. Icillius, is your gun out?
Yeah, I'd take it out.
You also notice them sniffing your gun. Like, you can see them almost follow it with their eyes. You can see them following your swords with their eyes a little bit.
Does anyone else notice this?
Odds or evens?
Even.
Nope. So we're walking. You feel something on your heel, Icillius, and one sort of jumps up on it and tries to jump up and grab your gun. Go ahead and roll a dexterity save.
I'm gonna do an indomitable. 15.
15. Yeah, easy enough. You pull it away, and the thing's sort of hanging on it. You sort of flick it, it goes. Sort of runs away. notice when it's close to you, it's got this sort of like almost rocky skin. You can make a nature or history check because your studies would probably delve into weird shit every once in a while.
14.
You're pretty sure
I assume they eat metal.
these are baby Zorn?
Okay.
They are metal-eating monsters. But they're babies,
Okay.
which means there's parents somewhere.
Oh no!
It seems like you're on top of these. These are probably like termite hives.
Yeah, okay.
And you're walking on top of the hive that's under the ground.
Okay, I say put the metal away. They eat metal, they like metal.
Solarian
put it
doesn't
away.
seem to be doing it. No, your armor in Solarian doesn't seem to be doing it at all.
We need to fucking
my
move.
katana's away.
Your katana's and the gun sort of goes in the holster. They're still very interested in your presence, but they stop tracking sort of the things, and the light on top of it kind of keeps them away. The two of you, Icillius and Avelios, you do feel a little bit of the ground shift.
Move.
We need to move now.
Should we fly? Should we fly out of
We
here?
just need to be quick because the ground is shifting.
They all scatter.
Oh, okay, let's start
running.
run.
Everybody roll me in athletics or acrobatics if you're running.
You guys have disadvantage on that?
Yikes.
That's bad.
11.
Okay.
14.
It's a 3. No, luck point. New day. Forgot.
Well, I rolled a 7.
Slightly better.
Why are you all so bad at running?
9.
9.
I am an old man.
As you run, as you guys are aware of those trapdoor spiders, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't be a giant.
Off to your right, about a 30-foot wide lid of soil goes, and you see a 20-foot wide mouth. These are way bigger than you've ever heard of on the material plane.
Yikes.
This is a gargantuan fucking Zorn. Huge. And it goes... And, like, it has this weird tongue. I need all of you to make dexterity saving throws as it starts to lash out with its tongue and snap.
Can I use my shield now
And-
for this?
Yes, you can. It is gnashing at you, and then to your left, as this happens, a slightly smaller one that's a little bit more of a gray color pops up. That's also very huge, and it goes, and then all the little ones scatter behind and are following you.
23.
23,
30.
30, 18.
18.
18, you're all able to dodge underneath these things, and you hear the skittering behind you. And then underneath you can hear a rumble.
We need to get off the ground. I'm gonna pick up Professor and we're gonna start flying.
And right as that happens, right in front of you, a huge lid and these giant teeth. Just like,
I'm gonna fly as high as I can.
Like Free Willy Zorn is trying to, as you go over top. Roll me a dexterity saving throw. You don't get a choice. You're in her hands.
Asteroid and Empire.
The two of you are kind of behind this, and you don't have to make a dex
Does
save for
this
that.
count with shield
But
or
you're
no?
about. It depends on how you want to do it. You're about to be overtaken by the. You guys remember World War Z?
Oh god.
They're like rolling over each other behind you now, like
Okay.
a tidal wave. You're like,
So
"Ah!"
if I just go,
It depends on what you want to do.
So-
Icillius is right there too.
Here's my plan.
Okay.
Solarion's popped out of existence. I grab Professor, fly up. Shield is in the left hand, so I'm gonna try to keep the shield underneath like tilted,
Okay.
so I have a little bit of coverage
Okay.
from the bite.
All right, and as you do, it clamps onto the shield, and you are both holding the shield. The shield is metal.
14
The
save.
shield is metal. And they eat
The
metal.
14 save?
Yeah.
My shield.
Boom! It eats your shield, it rips the leather straps off your arm, but you're both safe and free. And behind you, you see, because you're just kind of at the mercy of Elenia's athleticism, you kind of just see, as you're being held up, you're like, you're being held up under the sternum. You see Velios and Icillius as like a fucking tidal wave of these things come behind them. And so you have about 30 feet between the big thing that just ate the shield. You can feel a rumble to your right, and you feel the tidal wave behind you. What do the two of you want to do in this moment? You do not have a lot of time to think. So come up with an answer pretty quick. You two are safe. You are out of range. You're about 60 feet up in the air and kind of moving
I
away.
sacrificed my shield.
Hey, bud,
for
hold on. I'm gonna
life.
thunderstep us.
Huh?
I'm gonna thunderstep us out of safety.
So you're gonna
Or
run
into
over
safety.
and grab him and thunderstep. How
Yeah.
far can it go?
How far is thunderstep?
Thunderstep is
I think it's like 90 feet.
I think so.
90 feet.
Yeah, 90
Up
feet.
straight up in the air.
Well, we're trying.
You can go straight up in
trying
the
to
air.
get close to them because they're in safety.
Okay, so 30 feet, 60 feet, so
Yeah.
like right next to them. Okay.
I'm gonna shoot a fireball backward towards
What's the range on fireball?
150 feet.
Fuck yeah. So while this happens, you run over, and you don't have time to tell him, so I need you to roll just an acrobatics check to kind of like get over and as he's sort of like levitating and moving as fast as he can.
11.
11's enough, because you're very fast.
Because I just gotta touch him.
Yeah,
so
you just
it's-
gotta touch him, and then Icillius, you didn't notice this was gonna happen as you're just sort of like in panic mode. And you sort of look, and then you kind of exhale, and you go to inhale, but it's right when that happens, and there's like this, and you go, and you hear this thunder, and then from within that thunder, you feel just for a moment heat on the back of your neck as. Go roll damage.
Okay,
See
it
how many
does
these
damage.
fuckers you
Yeah,
kill.
I gotta look it up. I think it's what, 3d6?
So there's
3d10,
dozens.
I think.
For every damage point, you kill one.
Yeah, 3d10.
Oh god.
3d10. So you two, same thing. 3d10. As they were almost on top of you.
13.
13?
Yeah.
13 of them get blown to pieces. Their little brittle baby bones.
Hey, that's 13 babies.
Yeah, and you're up in
Hey.
the air right next to them. All of a sudden, you're
Not
able.
in vitro,
Icillius, you are able to breathe because you were just kind of like halfway in between that breath, and you've been thunderstepped, and suddenly, Icillius is falling.
Yeah. I expected
32 fire damage. by the way.
32 fire.
that. Ooh, 32 babies.
So you know that he. So you planned this though, and you definitely knew that he was going to fall that high up. You can try.
I will
Professor, at
try
this
my
point,
hardest.
you just cast that spell, so it's going to take a whole round if you want to do anything. After this, you roll just a d20. Actually, roll a perception check. You'd probably be paid
Try my
Me?
hardest to catch them.
just to see if you understand the situation. See if you can react to it.
Perception? Why do I lose it? 13?
13. Okay, you do understand the situation. You do see, as you kind of turn back, you can see Velios reacting to some falling. You hear the thunder step. You assume in your head, like, kind of that slow motion reacting to tragedy or whatever the fuck's happening. You probably assume Icillius is about to fall. Beneath you is the snapping jaws of this giant beast.
Fly! You
So-
fly
Yeah,
yourself!
try-
Fly
try-
yourself!
Hold on, no.
Let me go.
You just cast a spell. If you drop, it'll take a whole round.
How far below us is it?
You're only, 30 feet. It's like a huge, tall being, but
How
you're
many
30
feet do you
feet
drop per round?
I would say double your movement speed, or like a dash, probably. I'd say 60 feet. Is that the falling speed?
So we would,
I think.
I can
technic-
look.
Yeah. See what falling speed is in D&D, 5th edition. But I'm pretty sure it's like 60 feet or 100 feet per
fuck,
round.
fuck,
It has
fuck.
the answer somewhere. But So
I'm still gonna go.
the only people that can react in this round are Icillius and Icillius, and then the next round, we'll see what happens. So,
I'm gonna.
well, you don't get to do anything yet. You have to wait.
Oh.
Yeah, because literally this was your turn, and this all happened in conjunction. So you have to wait till the next round. So you two, what are you doing?
I'm gonna try and catch him.
You're just gonna use raw strength.
That's all I
Bird
got.
Achilles.
Yep.
All right. Does Icillius? Did you want to try to do anything?
You have disadvantage right now.
This is a save.
Literally the only thing I can do is, I guess, try to grab onto him.
I'll have you both make. Actually, okay.
I believe it is 60 feet per round, yeah.
Icillius can make a dexterity saving throw, and that'll determine whether or not you're rolling with a normal roll or disadvantage like normal.
Well, I have disadvantage no matter what.
Well, I know, but he might give you advantage, is what I'm saying.
So, dex save?
Dex save. To try to, like, grab him.
My acrobatics is -1, so we'll see what happens. That's
13.
13 is enough to reach out towards him, so the DC is going to be lower, but you're not going to get advantage.
Okay.
So it's athletics to hold him.
5.
5?
I have -1. I don't know what you want from me. I'm doing my
And he
best.
just starts to fall.
Can I fucking...
And at this point, how far do we fall per round?
60. Oh no!
It's gonna try. So as you're falling, it's just, well, actually, it's eating the shield. Let me see how it's doing.
Big shield is a big shield, come on!
It is a big shield, and he rolled a 7.
Okay!
So he's got another little bit chomping. But that said, there is a tidal wave coming down. But you're gonna stop 20 feet up from your thing, and you're gonna stop right next to this giant thing as you kind of pass it, and its big eye goes and looks right at Icillius as it passes.
Fly yourself.
Okay, what do you want to do?
Fly, 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 fly.
So
cast-
she says
I
fly,
cast fly
And I'm
myself.
gonna...
just on yourself, and you
Yeah.
maintain. You stay where you're at as you.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna Misty Step down to him,
Okay, that's 30
to
feet.
Icillius.
That's 30 feet,
That's
and
only
he's
30 feet.
Were we
and
60
he's
in the
40.
air?
He fell 60.
He fell 40 because
40
20 feet of
because
levitation.
I'm just gonna use the Misty Step to get as close as possible.
Okay, 30
fly
feet.
the
You got
rest
10
of the way,
feet.
scoop him up,
Scoop him up.
and then fly 30 feet back.
How many feet of movement do you have?
40. You said I,
I mean,
used 10.
withholding somebody is half.
Yeah.
So 15. Do you want to go sideways then?
Away from the
So
thing,
you can-
yes.
Okay. Here's how it's laid out, just so you know. Tidal wave. This is from the top view going towards me like this, but if we flip it like this, tidal wave of things that were just burned, so they're a little bit further away, and there's less of them. The mama is right here, kind of popped out. The papa is kind of right here, and you're kind of like right there.
Okay.
So you can go across, which would kind of
Diagonal
avoid mama.
that way.
You could go this way, which would put you in between both. But you would only get one opportunity attack as you leave melee range. Or you could just try to fight your way through the babies.
I can't just go straight up.
You can, but it's not going to do much.
I could fuck up so many.
They're going to be because you're okay. So they're going to be they can go about 30 feet as far as their height, and you're going to be 5 feet higher than that. So you're going to be within range. So it just depends on what you want to do.
Hold on. If my movement speed... This...
You are halved once you
No.
once you
Listen.
grab him.
If my movement speed is halved when I'm carrying a person, then me and Professor would have only been up...
This was kind of a theater of the mind. It's fine.
I know, I'm saying it wouldn't have taken me that much movement to even get back down if that was the case, because I would still be pretty much lower than... I wouldn't have been 40 feet up, I would have been 20 feet up.
That was like a couple rounds, though. We were doing it all at the same time. It wasn't one round.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you can't misty step with another person, so...
Yeah, I know.
So it makes sense to do that.
Yes, I know.
I know you know.
I don't fucking know what to do. Is there not a clear left or right I can go or anything that there's not a thing?
I mean, there's lots of things all over the place. Just given your movement speed, there's not a lot of... Like, it depends on which fight you wanna choose? Do you want one opportunity attack from the big guy? Do you want to kind of run at her to get out of range, which will incur an opportunity attack, but this one looks smaller? Or do you want to go towards the babies, or do you want to go straight up? Either way, you're going to get an opportunity attack if you leave this range. So.
Straight up seems like the best option here because
Okay.
either way, that big one is still going to be able to try to attack us. So.
Sure. You're flying.
Oh wait, I used my
Bonus action for Misty Step.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have an action. Don't have a ton of time.
I'm going to cast invisibility on both of us.
Okay. That's something you could do. Is that just upcast to
it'll be
level 4 or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're both invisible. And then you move up.
Or 3.
You already use your actions. As you move up, you're not going to leave melee range immediately, but it will get an attack. It's going to randomly attack
And it'll be a disadvantage
in the space that it just saw you, roughly. But its mouth is going to open enough, so it will be at disadvantage. This is more of a dex save. Since, you're in charge, you don't have your shield.
6.
6?
Yep.
6 is the dex save? Okay. Alright. The two of you are going to split damage on this.
Oh, that's a lot of dice.
Was the shield magical or anything? Or was it just a
Yep,
normal
it was
shield?
magical.
How much was it?
You
know,
each
we've had it
take
for a while.
37 piercing damage.
Oh, we can't even go to the Ivory Drift to get a new one.
Yeah, you each take 37 piercing damage. And you're able to kind of keep it from crushing you to death. And you are grappled. As it's in between the teeth. The two
Am
of
I
you,
Herculesing the fucking teeth right now while holding Icillius?
both of you are kind of like, we're kind of holding, you were holding him, and now this is more important, and then you can grab him if you need to. You're right next to each other, but the teeth are like, because they're so wide, they're not like perfect. You could get in between them, and you're just kind of keeping them from, it'd be more crushing than cutting at this point. What are the two of you doing?
How far away is the big one from me at this point?
30 feet down.
30 feet down. Is there... Is
Oh,
enough
wait.
of its body exposed that I could hit it without hitting them, effectively trying
Well,
to
yeah,
not
it's
take them out?
humongous.
Well, yeah, I was just double checking. Okay. Let me see what I want to do then.
What are you saying?
Invisibility was useless.
Well,
It wasn't an attack, it was a dex save.
Yeah.
So.
Enough-
Actually, roll with advantage. That makes sense.
That is a 19.
19. Have that damage. So half of 37, and you're not grappled, and you're 5 feet out of the mouth.
Okay.
Both
So
of them
you're holding him.
So you both take 18.
You two both take 18.
Yeah.
Okay, so this changed the situation. Good. Thank you for bringing that up. That makes sense.
Yeah.
You should be given that. So you don't see them. They're invisible, and you saw it go kind of at the same time. So roll a perception check to see if you know your friends are inside or outside.
Did
Yes?
you cast invisibility?
Yes?
Okay. I just wanted to make sure because we took a long rest, so I thought I was just making sure.
13?
13. You think maybe they're inside?
I'm gonna try and aim... 20-foot radius. That's way too close. I can't do that.
Yeah, because if you think they're inside,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Oh, I'm shooting it.
You're
I'm
shoot
just
it?
gonna shoot it a couple times with fire bolts just to try and
Cantrips, nice.
In case they're, I don't know.
I was just gonna shoot the bow.
All right, both of you make attacks.
To get
Very
my full
easy
action,
to
right?
hit. What?
My full action?
Yep.
So both attacks? Okay.
28 and 20.
Hits.
They both hit.
Hits.
It's over 30 each one.
Roll damage.
That was a +1 shield. That was magic.
It saved your
20.
life.
It
It's
did.
26. 26 thunder damage.
26 thunder damage.
Does the Colossus Slayer do thunder then too? Because that's what my bow is? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
It does whatever the bow does. $26 total.
45 fire damage.
26 total.
Okay. All right. 45 from.
2 cantrips.
Oh, because
3d10s
it's-
each.
Okay. Okay, so you unload fire damage. Doesn't do as much damage as you'd like it to do. Thunder damage does just fine. And now it is going to, because it's a dumb thing, try to refocus. 1, 2, 3, 4. But
We're invisible,
I'm gonna roll a
so-
d6, and you guys are only gonna be 2 and 4. You guys are also gonna be 5 and 6, so it has roughly disadvantage. It wants you. You burned it.
Yeah, well,
You still have movement.
I would like to go up as high as I can.
What's the fly speed? Movement speed, or is
it might be movement. Let me double check.
what do you want to do with your movement?
Up.
Okay.
Away.
Up it is.
Oh, 60 feet. 60
Okay,
feet
60
is my
feet
fly
up.
speed.
Okay, so you both go up. And at this point, you are invisible.
Yep, I'm
and you are
gonna
flying away.
keep flying directly up out of its range.
Okay, and so you would have with a dash 40 feet.
Yes.
Okay, and it's going to see if it notices you with disadvantage. What is your dexterity modifier?
Plus
Actually, what's your
0.
stealth modifier?
+0.
+0, so 10. So it has to get a 10 to notice, because you're not trying to be stealthy, but it has disadvantage on the thing, because you didn't. Whoo, that's very. I rolled a nat 20 and an 8. So you're able to escape. You see it just sort of gnashing wildly. And the babies sort of crash into it and sort of spill into the thing below.
Does it accidentally eat some of its own
No,
babies?
it doesn't. No, it's gnashing up. And then the slightly smaller one is sort of looking around with this big ol' eye, and it's just focused on you. And the other one's focused on you, far away, and they sort of, and the babies sort of scatter.
I'm gonna
Seems like you're out of the woods.
I'm gonna cast light just so that we pop out. Well, I pop out of invisibility.
Okay.
I'm still holding Icillius,
So you
but
see Alenia holding nothing.
so
with
that they
light.
see that I'm alive. How long do you have on flight?
I mean, that depends on how long that it is between the time I cast that and now. Probably not very long.
What?
We need to get
It's
to
like
a
a few rounds.
safe spot.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
Yeah, we
So
need
you have
to.
9 minutes, 38 seconds or
Yeah,
something
let's
like that. 30,
just fly
42
ahead
seconds.
now.
Yeah, you can use the next 9 minutes or so to keep flying.
Next time I die, I hope I get a body with wings. It seems like the flying is very helpful.
Yeah.
So,
That thing ate my shield.
Yeah.
that's rough. Now your AC is reasonable. Where are you at? So now you're at 20?
Fights. Right before
It's
the
a rough one. You
But the trade-off is I'm always going to be attacking with both of my hands now.
There you go.
So I get
I mean,
a
you can
little
also just
bit
go buy
more
another
damage.
shield later, but yeah. So, no,
We
nothing.
should probably visit Tin Top and shop before it also disappears.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well,
See how much we can get for that scroll holder thing.
possibly. There's also a particular beholder that
True.
has treasures.
Yes.
But we have to feed him treasures.
You
Right?
just got one.
Is that enough?
You don't know, but you definitely have something. So, who wants to take this second and final leg
fuck.
of the skill challenge that we've been doing?
Not me. I already did the first one.
What's ahead of us now?
Well, the spires are over, and as you sort of land and descend with the natural decline of the flight spell the professor has going on, you can kind of set Icillius down, who is still invisible if he wants to be. You can end it at any point.
Yeah, no, I'll just end it once we're...
Okay.
Close one.
Icillius has nothing to say about that, of course.
Nope.
Nope, nothing at all. You guys sort of pat down, and there's a little bit ahead of you. A little bit of a ways is a very small, like it looks like pieces of land sort of slid and separated just a little bit, maybe a 10-foot gap. And then after that is kind of some waste with a little bit of. They have some. You passed these before when you were here the first time. Little pools of black ooze. But other than that, past that is a little town called Sorrow's End that seems to have little flecks of green within it. So.
Be careful of the children this time.
I don't know if insight is even a skill I could use to navigate.
Well, don't think about it as navigation. Think about it as helping your forward progress. It's not necessarily looking at a compass and a map. If you can apply it to the situation, then it works.
I
You
know.
could use insight to trust yourself that
No,
you're going the
that's
right.
stupid.
No, I was thinking like insight to look for, but that feels like a perception thing. To try to find what looks like travel, like points of travel, but no.
No, that'd be more like a nature survival
Yeah.
perception.
Can I make a survival check to do that?
Insight could be something like the behaviors of things. Maybe if you were doing a skill thing in a social setting, you could use insight to sort of get the vibe of the crowd in the city and sort of like
Yeah.
This defines it as gleaning clues from
Yeah.
body language,
Yeah.
speech habits, changes.
So
in
it's more of a
mannerisms.
social.
It'd probably be more of a nature thing to look for anything living in the area that's...
Also, Icillius is available and doesn't have exhaustion.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Can I
perception
just
is
make
already
a
used.
like a survival check to look for a travel path?
Okay, it is a new day. I'll let you dip into that. Sure. A travel path in this wide open plain, I will not let you do. There's no travel paths.
Be creative.
Nothing's traveling. Much more creative than travel path.
Travel path.
Nope, still can't roll.
Can I just keep an eye out for signs of like evidence of things that are in disguise or trying to camouflage themselves from us?
Yes.
Like that Zorn shit.
Yes. Absolutely.
16.
16. Okay. Just barely a success. As you you do notice a couple things. They hide in. There's once you pass this ravine, which I'm not going to make you do a check for, because it's very easy to get over. Goes all the way down though, and you can hear the sound of some sort of movement down there of seismic, or like there's something down at the bottom of this ravine, making like a rumble. Whatever that is not your concern at this point. You pass over top of this ravine, and then kind of off to your left, there's like this little, almost like crater, like a moon, but it's like rough. So it almost just looks like a natural sort of slope down, and maybe stuff settled down in there. It doesn't look like an impact. Sort of valley, and as you kind of walk past it, there are bones all over the inside of it, of varying sizes. And at first, you kind of are just looking down, and maybe it's like kind of like a tar pit type scenario where things fall in, die, and that's it. Because it's a little steep and a little slippery, and maybe things could just fall and die. But you look down in there, and you see evidence of these larger ones being dragged into the center. And then you see, very briefly, as you sort of pointed out to Icillius, he sort of looks down. Icillius, you see a little bit of a little shift, and what looks like bones. It's actually like the arm of something that just has a bone-colored flesh and long fingers. And it sort of moves over to get more comfortable in its natural camouflage. It's very unsettling. It kind of looks like, you know, horror movies when they remove frames and the thing moves all weird? It kind of looks like that. Like it chitters almost. You can almost hear it without hearing it. You guys sort of avoid that. Head over.
I do not like this place.
There's also...
This feels so much more treacherous than the last time we came here.
There's also lots of things have been happening. There's also those little black ooze pools that you went through before, and you stay well clear of those as you see a little pseudopod reach out and grab some sort of organic material. Looks like a little chunk of something. Maybe something dropped as it flew over, and sort of pulled it into the little pit. It seems like there are lots of ichors and actual sentient oozes in these pits. At this point, you do notice there are some like skeletal-looking bird-like things that they don't seem to have any interest in you whatsoever as you sort of traverse. And then, nearby, you see the very familiar lights of this town sort of lit up, and you can see out of the center is actually kind of a tree growing. You can make your way over. Takes you a little bit more time, maybe half an hour to get from where you're at to there, but you walk up the side, and there's sort of like a pathway, almost like switchbacks. On the sort of, this side seems to have like a mound to it. And you walk up and into town, and you see kind of a normal bustle of a town, but last time it was incredibly quiet, and you notice not a lot of people talking, and there was that interaction with the child you had, where you, in your foolishness, tried to help a child.
That Alex still likes to fucking get at me
Yeah?
for some reason about.
I haven't mentioned it since it happened.
You literally mentioned
You mention
it today.
it all
Well,
the
no,
time.
not to. No,
And
I
you
don't.
mentioned it 5 minutes ago,
No, that's what I
fucker.
meant. Like, other than that time, I have not
No,
mentioned
you
it
have
since.
mentioned it multiple times. Like,
guarantee
you
there
could
isn't
probably
a-
go through all of the videos and find at least a few times
Dude.
where you mentioned me
Jesus
fucking
Christ.
helping a
Give
kid.
me the receipts then.
I'm not about to go through hours of footage.
Anyway, you see these sort of like favela-like...
Stop smoking weed and you might fucking remember
He's not
some
high
things.
right now. Black.
just
You
mean
see
in
these,
general,
you
his
see these
brain is
black
adult.
wooden
That's a
structures
4.0 right now.
with little green and blue lanterns
More
hanging
like a
off of them.
420.0.
Shut the fuck up!
That wasn't even a good joke.
Sort of houses stacked on each other, and people sort of walking around, and you can see there is a different vibe here. People are talking to one another, though it is still a little hushed. And as you walk in, you are clearly not like people of the Shadowfell. A few people sort of whisper to one another in possible recognition, but you don't see the Shadowkai that were here, that were in charge of this space. It seems like just people. You see someone sort of carrying some sort of strange, it almost looks like a gray pumpkin with like spiky vines growing at the top. One of those rolls off the back of a cart. People start walking by. The guy walks over to it. Someone grabs it and picks it up and hands it to him. Sort of nods. Doesn't say thank you or anything. The other one just walks away without mentioning it. Puts it back on the cart. Keeps going. The horses here have like backwards knees and tusks out of the bottom jaw. They look a little weird. They sort of.
I don't like the phrase
Yeah.
backward knees.
Well, they're sort of bowed out like this. They sort of. It is a little awkward to look at. Yeah. And then where that tree is, you recognize as the former sanctum, where the Fearsmith's courthouse used to lie.
Does it look like is anyone sort of official in front of
You're
it?
not
or
close
anything?
enough to it yet.
I'm gonna just
The
keep
tree
walking.
is pretty large. It seems to be like 50 feet up, and there seem to be lanterns hung from the boughs of it.
I'm gonna just keep walking in that direction, like
Okay, you
we're
kind of got to
supposed
circle
to be here.
around. Because last time you were basically just dragged there against your will as you held the child like an idiot. And so you kind of got to spiral around and then kind of reach. It's almost like Grecian in design, where there's like a central hub here. It's got those pillars. And as you walk around, you do see. Does anyone speak Undercommon? Nope. Okay. It's sort of broken English, so sometimes you can pick up a word here or there. Roll me an intelligence check. Let's kind of see if you get the gist
All
of
of
any
us?
of it. Yeah, since you're all walking through them.
Oh shit.
2.
Nope.
15?
19.
That one.
Also a 2.
Okay. Icillius and Velios are just kind of struck by the space. Icillius has other shit on his mind anyway. Two of you, mostly you, can point these out a little bit easier. You can kind of corroborate with it. There's a couple places, like, there seems to be a place for lodging, because you didn't really explore the city at all the first time. There's a place for lodging. You need it. That's kind of based on social cues more than anything else. You see people that don't look like the people that are from here, kind of hanging out around there. You see different animals, and you actually see one eladrin that is bright yellow that sticks out like a sore thumb that walks into that, grabbing a bow off their back and placing it on a regular-looking kind of fayish horse, and it's put off to a stable. You do hear the ding, ding, ding of a smith, and not a fear one, a regular one.
Normal Smith.
You don't quite see it, but you can just hear it. And you also see someone selling small vials on a roadside, it's kind of cobbly here. So street side sort of vendor. And you assume they sell potions or something, or some sort of concoction. They don't look familiar, like the design, like it's not like a standard like flask. They're often thin, or they're very ornate, very strange, and you can't speak Undercommon, so it'd be a little bit of a struggle, but so that's kind of what you notice as you wrap around. Do you just want to continue?
Yeah.
Okay. So you continue up to the Fearsmith's courthouse. And then in front of the entrance, you do see a couple Fey individuals. Sort of the very long-eared, olive-skinned, very sharp-featured elves that aren't Eladrin. You've actually seen a version of these before when they were fighting orcs. Those were normal elven soldiers, but they seem to have had some Fey ancestry. I mean, all elves do, but I mean, like, more direct Fey ancestry. these seem to be actually part of the Elven Empire based on their uniforms is kind of a strong word for it. Just kind of like the way that it's structured. They seem to each be wearing leathers with a little bit of plate in vital areas. They have some seals. Those are usually house seals for their own, in Elven, their own like surnames or whatever. And they seem to be formidable. They seem to be very. They hold themselves very similar to the way, like a Velios might hold himself if he was standing guard somewhere. Very confident in their own abilities. And then one very familiar face in the center. Between the two of them, sort of sitting on the steps that lead up, with the columns on either side, and has a little pot. And is tending to what looks like a bonsai tree. Oh, hello there!
Kraylin!
It's Kraylin, the Furbolg druid that assisted you at the Fey Gate with not only the Black Hand, but here as well. Back to Cracking Isles, so
I'm gonna
he sets down this
hurriedly kind of walk over
pot.
towards
It's
him.
almost like, it's more of like a pot is a strong word because it's not solid. It's like a sack that has soil in it that seems like he carries with him, and he sets it down, and it's sort of like a bonsai tree, and then he's trimming it, but seems to be offering these little tiny green, like, fruity nut thingy looking things. They're almost like shaped like cashews. That have you seen cashews before they get all turned, like the nut we eat, the natural with the little flower at the bottom? Kind of look like really small versions of that. And he sets it down.
I'm walking up to him quickly. And
Oh,
I'm
hello
gonna
there.
go in for a hug.
Ah, oh goodness. And you sort of squeeze him. There's a lantern on his chest. He's got a strap around. He's got like a patch of moss right here hanging out of a bag. He's got his staff on his back. He's got a backpack and a bedroll. He's a tall fella too. And he sort of smells like a cow. And he kind of looks like a big cow.
Could be.
And he goes, oh, that's a lot of hug. That's, Alenia.
Hey!
Yeah, it's not been that long, but you look so grown.
Thank you.
You look tough. You look huggable. Come here. Who are you? Oh, goodness, that's so nice.
You've met me before.
No one hugs here. I met you before?
I used to be purple and have hooves.
Well, you.
Professor!
Yeah.
Okay, new
technically
look. I
used to
like it a
be
lot. Looking good.
Thank you.
Human when we first.
I like
met
your
Kraylin.
boots.
Thank you.
Yeah,
They're
very-
really bad for trekking.
I was going to mention not that they were fashionable, but yeah, I would not wear those anywhere
After
outside.
this, I'm thinking I'm going to develop a heel that turns into a flat when needed.
That would be fantastic.
Okay. Velios.
Hi.
Hi there, buddy. And he gives you a big squeeze and lifts you up.
No.
Oh, goodness. It's nice to see you. And, we didn't talk much. What's...
No, Icillius.
I was gonna say Ike. That's not your name, though. It's Ice... Welcome! Hello! Oh, you're a good hugger, aren't you? Are you hugging back?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Everyone here's so sad. But,
Yeah, you stick out like a sore thumb, kinda.
I'm trying to bring a little joy to the place, you know. I'm
Did
trying
you
to-
make this tree?
I did. It's gonna be my new grove, I think. I like this place here, and I was granted domain over it for a little bit, so looking forward to it. Gonna make it my own without trying to like encroach on their style. You know what I mean? They kind of got their own thing going on, so I just wanna, make it good. This place is off limits, so I figured it was fine.
Speaking of,
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that why we're here.
I don't. I was literally just about to ask. Can I treat you guys to some dinner?
Sure, that would
Yeah.
be great, actually.
All right. I have some. I got mushrooms. Just raw ones. I got. Oh, I can give you some of these weird fruit things. I don't know what they are, but you could try them. Haven't eaten one yet. Crapshoot. It'll be fun. No, that's fine. Also can make you some sandwiches.
Sandwiches sound good.
Okay, I got some tomatoes, and I got some flatbreads, and what else I got here?
Mushrooms.
I do have mushrooms. If you want mushrooms on it, I can absolutely do. I actually have too many mushrooms. A lot of them are dried, though. Oh, that's a bag of teeth. Oh, I got some, he holds up an old dead lizard. I know it looks gross, but when I squeeze the juice out of this thing, delicious.
I'm good without the lizard
It's
juice.
like,
I would love it.
It's kind of like, it's kind of like balsamic glaze and mayo. It's very. I think it's just their guts or their poop or I don't know. It's very good.
I'm good without
Icillius
that.
loves mayo.
Do you love mayo? I am also an aficionado of mayo. How many? Have you tried cockatrice mayo? Very dangerous, but very delicious.
What? Oh.
We'll have to get you a little. I'll get you a little sampler, okay? I got all sorts of very rare mayos. I know some people. I'll get you a connect.
Anyway,
So-
while we're here,
Yes. Well, let's walk inside.
okay.
Seems like there's a little bit of a drizzle coming down. You can hear a drizzle, and you do feel it at this point. That's actually slightly acidic, so we don't want to be out here too long, you know. And so we're gonna head in here. I got a little table set up. We're gonna eat a little tidbit. Get you some
Okay.
stuff. Okay. I actually don't know when it's dinner time, so I just call everything dinner. It's always dark, so come on in. Hey, you two. Both of the elves don't even move. You want some food?
They really not.
Just like the English guards at Buckingham.
You must be bored.
I'm so glad you visited. These two are sticks in the mud. Seriously?
It is a little weird to have such
Anyway.
a cheery person and such a...
I can't help it. Anyway, come on in. Opens the doors, pushes them both open. Huge doors, just... they swing open, and inside, you've been here before, only you're kind of pushed to the lower levels pretty quickly. Big open space. There are stairs on either side that lead up to a place that the Fearsmith used to lord over, and then down below is the courthouse, and below that's the Caraptus. It's a little bit being repaired. You can see there's some places where it looks like there's been plant growth that's been used to like repair the stairs, so they're like wood vines to sort of move across. Well, I figured we'd give ourselves the best view to up there, and he sort of leads you up the stairs. It's good, like 25 feet up from the base, and up there you see it's kind of like a fire barrel for warmth, but it's a tree trunk that seems to have been druid crafted, and inside it's just been burnt out, and it's got a nice warm fire. There are some plushy looking couches, and kind of like trays just kind of set on the ground, and they'll have different kinds of shit on them, and he kind of sits down in the middle on a rug, cross-legged, starts going, okay, so you wanted those tomato sandwiches, who wants the guts? And then he sort of lays the breads out, and you guys can kind of pick these little pillowy things.
I
No
will take
guts.
guts.
None.
No guts, please.
No guts? Pretty good.
I'm good.
I'm good.
As I said, no.
No guts.
No
okay.
one else is gonna eat the guts.
Just the guts.
You
just,
cowards.
I'm a
Hey, just you need
vegetarian.
more for
Yep.
us. That's what I
You have
always
an
say.
excuse.
I have an excuse.
I've seen you try and eat a slimy eel.
That wasn't.
It was still you. You have mayo PTSD, so I get it.
Sort of grabs a tray. What's that on there? I also have a little bit of honey milk, if you'd like it.
Sure.
Is that exactly what it sounds like?
Milk, and I sweetened it with honey.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
Sure
that
thing.
sounds great.
Sort of. Ready?
Yeah.
So he takes the tray. And slides it across the flat stone. Sort of sits in front of you. Kind of like a, is that curling?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have like a really nice heirloom, like it's like red, yellow, and orange. Big slice of heirloom tomato, and this really good looking bread that has a little bit of seeds in it. No guts, and a nice medium-sized glass of honey milk. And that's yours. The same thing for you. Same thing for Icillius. Extra guts.
Fuck it, yes.
Okay. Takes the bread, goes, cracks it open, and sets one half down.
Oh,
You gotta let them get a little old so the bones get soft. And he takes it and it kind of looks like a cat hairball without the hair in it, like that gray-black sort of, and then spreads it out. It does not look appetizing at all. He slaps it on there, slides it over, does the same thing with the back half for himself. I like the back because I feel like it's older. Sort of spreads it out. Oh! You guys are really missing out. Really missing out.
I'm gonna take a large bite.
I'm just gonna eat my
Just
tomato
like you
sandwich.
described, it tastes like a balsamic aioli.
Fuck yeah!
It is like a little
Okay.
vinegary, like it got a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of zip, and just mayo. And while it looks, it doesn't smell gross.
Okay.
It doesn't even really have a smell, which is really weird. It tastes fucking great. You kind of don't want to look back at what you're eating.
Sure.
The tomato is really nice. I know you don't like tomatoes in
I've
real
put
life.
disgusting things in my, well, not this mouth, different mouths before.
It kind of just tastes like just a good ass sandwich, and the honey milk is like perfectly sweetened. It's kind of like just a little bit of a sweet cream,
What?
where it's not like really heavy. It's not like overbearing, and doesn't curdle up or anything. And he did something to it. It seems to be cold in here as he pours it out of the just sort of like skin he had on him.
Okay.
Maybe it's magic or something that keeps you cold. And it's really refreshing, and you really enjoy this, especially, like, you really like tomatoes in general just because you're kind of a vegetarian vegan lady, but the bread is made with these really nice seeds, and it's like, it's got this, like toasted nut, sort of like really nice, caramelized, deep, satisfying flavor that you haven't tasted since having like servants, like Eric Cochran servants as a boy. It's like a deep, weird memory. And I still think it's a pretty damn good sandwich. Doesn't evoke any real memories other than that. But so as you guys eat, well, what can I do for you?
Well,
We
we
need access to the Caraptus.
Oh boy, the
Get
Caraptus, huh?
to the Dream
I was
Eaters.
told not to open that for anybody. I'm sorry, friends, but
I pull out
really
the Archdruid
appreciate-
Amber.
Yeah.
oh crap!
Yep.
So, Rimmerell sent us with his blessing. Is something wrong?
I like you guys. I don't want to see you go down to the Caraptus. It's what I call it.
Well, we can't.
We've been there.
We've been there before while you were
Yeah.
hanging back with the Rimmerell.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's finish this little meal here and let you reconsider. And if you still want to go, I'll open a room for you. Okay.
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 All right.
Would you please tell me what you call it again?
The Caraptus. Because it's bad. I don't like it. I sealed it on up. Yeah. Only I can open it now.
You're a wonderful person. Just so you
You
know.
are too.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You don't know the things I've done, but thank you.
That's fine. You know what? Water under the bridge as far as I'm concerned. Every day is a new day, even if it never resets. Missed you guys. It's been nice.
By the way, there's something we should probably tell you.
I was gonna say,
Oh,
There's
Wow, that's a lot of. What is that? What am I looking for?
you know that
What's the word? Chispa.
You know the paragon that we
Ah, the big diamond. Yeah.
borrowed from you?
Yeah, for the Fagate, the powering the Fagate. Yeah.
It has been
Stored
Good.
safely in upside where you told me.
It's been burgled.
I don't know what that word
It's been
means.
stolen.
Stolen. I know what that word means. Uh-oh.
We're
Wait,
working
who
on
stole it? Did someone good steal it? For
No.
good?
No, we're working on
Oh.
getting it back. I promise.
We
Are
wanted.
you familiar with what the capabilities are of one of those little
Yeah.
stones?
Yeah. One time I tried to use one to cast mirror image, and I was stuck in a dimension of me for like an hour. Which I don't know if you've spent more than
That
10
sounds
minutes
like a
with me.
side effect.
It's awful.
So, I don't know how long you've been in the Feywild now.
Well, can I just stop you right there? I'd spend 11 minutes with you at any point, okay? You can continue. You have a bright smile.
So, the place where we were keeping them safe, disappeared?
It disappeared.
It's
Where were you keeping it safe? Ivory Drift or something?
Yes.
Oh, that was a joke.
Our answer is
you-
not a joke.
You used disappear instead of annihilated. That's a totally different word, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's.
Oh, yeah. No,
So
lots
you
of
know
rumbling
about
down
that.
here. That's pretty near the old drow. They were not happy about that. So they've all gone underground. Yeah, they're not coming back up for quite some time. Wouldn't be surprised if you never see one again. They are not happy with
Not
what's
surprised.
going on there. And the elves north of that, well, there's a couple here for a reason. They don't know how that happened, and they're worried the drow did it. Because the drow did it, that happened, and they fucked off. So.
Well, actually, we kind of. Velios kind of saw who did it.
Oh, interesting. That would be very good to report back to my boss.
You should describe the person.
I mean, I didn't really get a look at the.
There was a
person,
mask.
You
but
did get a little bit of a look at the person?
I got like a mask and what he was wearing.
And the eyes, right?
I don't remember.
Did
What
you
is
not
that
write it
Really?
down?
You don't fucking remember? Oh my
You
fucking
can roll
god.
a history check.
I thought someone else wrote it down because I told you guys what it was.
You can roll a history check.
Now I have to check my goddamn notes because
You can roll a history check!
Oh, it's 23.
Okay, yeah. It was a gold mask that covered the entire face. It was a long, slender humanoid form, bipedal, had very fine leathers, like leather cloak,
No, I just don't remember like
and
the
it
specifics
spoke
on the
and it
mask.
spoke almost religiously to the people.
It
Like-
said like you've been chosen.
Yeah,
been
like they were
chosen
chosen
by our-
for.
Yeah.
Okay, so you relay the gist. If there's anything else you want to add from your notes, that's fine.
I
Your
am
notes.
just looking.
I almost slipped into it without even slipping into it. Fuck. While you look for that, do you want to try a crunchy crawler?
Oh, those are really
gummy
good.
boy with
I
a-
want one.
Ow! What is it? It's like a candy coating, but inside
Yeah, it's a
gummy.
candy
You want the
coating.
green?
Is it sour?
A little bit. Not
Okay,
much.
just wanted to know
It
so I
just
knew
slid
what I was...
across my.
They're super good.
Do you suck on it or do you bite?
I just eat it. I have no self-control.
Me either.
Mmm. Yeah. The green ones are my favorite. Did you get a green one?
I got a red one.
I didn't write it down because you sent a picture of the mask. to
I did.
me. That's why I didn't write it down.
Wake up in the storm. Violetta Coney tells Ivory Drift is going to investigate. Everything's fine. Paragons are gone. Avelio saw the vision of a man in a bronze mask and collar with a black coat. Told the people that they were chosen and congratulated them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I had.
Yeah,
That doesn't seem like destroyed to me. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
But we broke into the vault where the Paragons are being kept, and they are missing. It was still there under the ground, with holes cut into it.
Cool. That sounds Like the opposite of what we wanted to happen.
Yeah. Do you have any idea?
I have no clue. That sounds terrible. Really glad I wasn't there for that.
If it makes you feel better,
Hmm.
either we'll get them back and be able to reimburse you,
Oh, I'm not worried
Or-
about the costs, you silly billies.
or the world will end and none of it'll matter
That's the
anyway.
part I'm worried about.
No.
I'd rather you prevented that than worried about old Kraylin.
Yeah, so you could
Ooh, my
report.
milk got warm.
You could report that back to the elves.
I don't think they're interested in my milk.
Not the milk.
Oh, okay.
Like the face, the guy.
No, these
yeah.
guys don't seem interested in anything. If I told them that, though, they might... Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to talk to my boss. Don't mention it to those two guys.
We
Didn't
won't.
plan on it.
You didn't? Okay. Well...
So, how much do you know about the Dream Eaters?
Well, how much do you know?
Not a whole lot.
If I recall, our friend here had some run-ins with it.
Regrettably.
Well, what can you tell me about what you experienced down there? And maybe I can fill you in with some gaps as I've been here.
Well, when my party initially got trapped down there, they basically picked us off one by one. Lured people away from the group when we were at our lowest and took them out. And then when it was just me and Julia, they offered a bargain to help bring them people to feed on in exchange for not killing us.
Julia made the deal too?
No, just me.
Yeah, that sounds like some reports I've gotten from the locals. Apparently they used to use this old place as like a penance of sorts for those who didn't, I guess, were found guilty. Or not guilty. I don't know how their laws work here. It's very strange.
That's how we ended
Couldn't
up
be nice to
down here.
anybody. Very odd.
I was nice to someone and we got dragged in here. And that's when we fell in here and found Icillius.
Well, in your effort to prevent you from helping somebody, you help somebody. That's pretty good. You took the lemons and you made lemonade milk.
That would curdle.
So,
That just doesn't sound good.
I have heard other things that Dream Eaters is a little bit of a weird name for them, but they can eat while you're dreaming, give people nightmares and stuff. Long-term effects can have nightmares over and over, and there's something about nightmares they like, I guess. I don't really understand it.
Do you know if there's anything that they're, like, scared of?
Probably getting murdered.
Other than that?
That's, I think, most living things.
Scared. That's a strong word. These people don't talk like the Dream Eaters are scared of anything. But I bet they're scared of going hungry. And right now they're not eating. They're probably pretty vulnerable right now as far as like making deals and stuff. Because we have not fed these buggers in, oh, what's the date today? You tell them the day, that's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, down here it's 4 or 5 months.
Oh.
They're gonna
Yeah.
be hungry.
A little rabid, yeah.
How long do they live?
No
without-
idea. I thought maybe they'd be gone by now, but every once in a while you hear them down there hooting and hollering. Trying to spook us. It's not gonna work though. Not on me. Positivity.
Do you actually think that if you go in there,
Yep.
100% positivity, and they can't make you scared or have nightmares, are they just kind of
Useless?
yeah?
I don't know. I don't know how they work at all. They could just rip your face right off. Leave the smile behind. Who knows?
True.
But it could work. I don't know how these creatures work. Do you think that would work, Mr. Icillius? You ever try
Sorry.
it?
Tried what?
Being real happy.
Oh. No.
Huh. Could work. Could be terrible. Couldn't catch him off guard.
So would a bullet.
You could also, again, that was my first option, was you could murder them to death. Yes. But I can't go with you. I gotta keep this all sealed up. But if you need anything, I might be able to give you something. I don't know what I got for you, but you know, anything I can give you on the way in, help you out. I'll do my best.
What do you mean by giving us on the way in?
Well, I know a lot of magical in you. I got a lot of fruits. I got some honey milk if you need that.
Mm-hmm. What kind of
I
magic?
can give you a pep talk if you're into that.
Fine.
Um,
A hug would be good.
I do love a good hug. Let me see what else I got. I don't know. Can I? Well.
I want more of those crunchy boys.
Have all my crunchies. Get out of here, app. I'm not trying to listen to your musics.
I asked, you don't have another one of those things for the guts, do you? Why are you looking at me like that?
The
Just because you
guts?
don't want to try something. Yeah,
I don't have any more of the
No.
delicious lizard guts.
that's a shame.
I did sneak a little bit of some magic into those foods, though, that you ate. So that was good.
What magic?
The guts were also a little magical. Well, it's been about an hour now, so, well, I did a little hero's feast for you. So,
Come on.
yeah, you're all good there. Should be all sorted. Also, you should feel a little bit of special inside you after eating that mayo goop. You, have a 1d8 inspiration.
Can't be frightened. What's the other effect?
Immune to poison and being
You are
frightened.
cured of all diseases and poison. You are no longer exhausted.
Oh, thank God.
The two of you are no longer exhausted.
Hey.
You were, well, you don't know, actually. Never mind. You become immune to poison. You are immune to being frightened.
Here's the kicker.
Wisdom saves with advantage.
Oh.
No feral bird.
Maybe. That one.
Yep.
Say that.
Immune to fear and poison.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And wisdom saving throws with advantage. This lasts for 24 hours. And also, you all gain 10 maximum hit points and have that many extra hit points. So you all gain 10 more hit points.
Ooh, 165.
And you are inspired.
This is the highest my health has ever been. I'm only 3 points
You're
away
almost
from
in
100.
three digits. Okay, these are really good flavors.
Once she hits triple digits, it's over for everyone.
They're good, right?
Yeah, it's like
The green's so good.
cherry lime is the green, watermelon is the red one,
Why is watermelon
Yep.
red?
because it's the inside.
Mmm.
So watermelon is, I think it's green on the inside. It's strawberry on the outside.
The blue one's the best one.
I don't like the orange raspberry as much.
I didn't even look. I may have been a little
A little high.
high when I bought them.
They're good though.
Yeah. Flavor.
Kind of a
What's
weird,
that
like,
do?
crunchy texture to get over on the first one, but
It's like a nerd's rope, but a lot more nerds.
it's a lot better.
Yeah.
It's way better.
Can't catch that.
Man, I just want to eat a giant thing of Sour Patch watermelon now. Damn it.
I really want
Alright,
the,
last one.
because you've been talking about them, I wanted the Haribo cherries really bad.
Mmm. Same. Do they not have those at 7-Eleven?
Did know.
I think we sell, like, the Haribo gummy bears, and those things are, like...
Yeah. The Haribo cherries are literally the best.
Trying to
Fallen
find
Heroes
stuff I
Feast
can
is
do.
Heroes Feast, but a Denny's Grand Slam.
Hey, Denny's is great. Especially at midnight.
Except for when they undercook your food and almost give you food poisoning.
Just get past that.
Yeah, it's been.
That's like a perk at
We haven't
Denny's.
gone back in some time because of that.
They tried to fucking kill me.
Probably. Undercook your chicken. Oh, that's right. I was there for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It was after D&D on a Sunday.
when they undercooked your
We went
tendies.
at like 1 a.m. and they undercooked my chicken tendies and they were pink in the middle.
Yeah, it was rough. Last time I went, I got like so much food.
Yeah, I think that's all I got for you, unless you are feeling a little low on the old blood.
Low on
Our
the
blood's
old
pretty good.
I'll
blood?
give you more blood if you've been bleeding a lot.
Oh.
Question: where are you? In what-
Magic, I don't know.
Okay, you just have an add more blood spell.
Yeah, cure wounds, stuff like that. Gets more
Oh.
blood in you.
Well, that's a weird way of putting it.
Well, it doesn't not do that.
Now I just wish there was an add more blood spell.
Well, if you got drained of all your blood and you were dying on the ground, I could go like, boop, and you'd have blood in you. It's
well,
really
sometimes
weird.
you just need blood. What if you just wanted blood somewhere and you didn't have blood? That'd be a cool spell.
Well, I wouldn't have conjure blood, but if you want to create that spell, I would very much like to learn it.
That would be a dope ass spell.
It's a kind of cool spell.
No.
Yeah, I got nothing for you. I got literally
Purposely
nothing
give
for
someone
you.
the wrong
We
type of
should be
blood.
fine with
Oh,
this, I'm
God.
gonna be honest.
Oh,
If
yeah.
any of you
Deal with the autoimmune response, you fuck. In 20 minutes, you're gonna be feeling like shit.
Well, if you're ready to go and you haven't reconsidered, which I figured you wouldn't.
You know better, but we can't be frightened now.
Well, think positive thoughts. Alright, let's head down and I'll let you in. Not y'all nodded. Dang it. Okay, yeah, we're actually going now. Okay. He gets up. Oh! Oh! Takes a staff out. Sort of. Knee locks up. He sit for too long. Walks down the stairs. Alright, through this door. Turns and pushes the door open. You walk down. And you recognize you came in the back way the first time. You're brought out back for trial. Coming in the front way now. And, yep, it's the old courthouse. Interestingly, you can still see a little bit of Fearsmith smear.
Nice. Not falling down the trap
Yeah, we
door
fucking
this time, right?
wrecked him.
Yeah, he got fucked up.
Yeah, you kill a bunch
We
of...
attacked from the
You
ceiling.
killed a bunch of shit. And, down in the center there is that big seal that you stood on and got dropped down. Over top of that is a shimmering cage of force. Kraylin walks over to it. Alright, no going back once I undo that.
Yeah.
Is there a way that we should leave specifically?
Oh, just come back through. You can open it from the inside if you're not dead.
Okay.
It'll recognize the fact that you have those little ambers on you. So you can come back through. You just can't go down until I undo the
So
thing.
don't lose them.
Don't lose. Oh no! If you lose them, you'll be trapped forever. Or you could find some other way out. I don't know how you got out the first time, but there wasn't a cage of force over top of it. You could probably contact me. I don't know if that'll work. But if you die, well, I'll never know, and I'll be very sad.
Damn.
Worst case, we could teleport out, I suppose.
I don't know how any of that works. I
Yeah.
can move through a tree though. look at a tree,
We have a
think of
friend that
another one, then I
does
walk
that.
through that to the other tree. Huh?
We have another friend that does that.
Do you?
Mhm.
I'd love to meet her sometime.
It's
Him.
it's like him.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
He's a king.
A king.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You don't usually see a lot of guy druids.
Really?
Toxic. It's very toxic.
Well, one big
They
hug,
think it's like a lady job. I don't get it.
being nice and liking nature and stuff like that.
Real dumb. Takes a brave man to love nature.
I agree.
Or a brave woman. Or a brave fluid person. Pretty much everyone's valid. Yeah, that's pretty much how it works. I just love everybody. So, yeah, except those dream eaters. Actually, you want a hug?
Yeah.
I'd love to stall
we-
and give another hug. Oh, you're very strong.
I'm gonna pick him up.
Okay. Oh wait, keep doing it.
Pick him up.
Jiggle.
Crack this back.
Oh. Oh, thank you. Anybody else?
All of us.
You want to save it for the end?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Come here, buddy. Yeah. Okay. Oh, in case I forget, how long do those last? Well, dang it. A little spoiled. Okay. If you have to sleep down there, take one of these.
What is this?
Hands out a little blueberry. Those are good berries. It's gonna be gone, I think, in the morning. When did I make that? I think it should last all day, yeah. So, yeah. If you end up having to camp, eat those in the morning. And they'll give you a rejuvenation for the whole day. Don't gotta dip into those lucky rations. I know they give those adventuring types, so it can be pretty rough going. A lot of dry mouth.
Thank you.
Can't do anything about those beds though. So, good luck. And force goes away. And you see the thing in the middle goes. And it sort of like spreads apart a little bit as it sort of twists, slides, and separates. And there's a hole in the bottom. Well, if you're gonna go now. I gotta lock this up.
Alright, I'm gonna fly
There we
down.
go.
Everybody be safe. It's only about a 25-foot drop.
Yeah. Just
Yep.
gracefully.
Okay. Going in?
Yeah.
All right. I'm assuming you're gonna help.
That'd be a hilarious
It
dick
would.
move. No, I'm gonna way up here, guys.
Are you gonna help? You're just gonna
Yeah, I'll
try your
help.
best to do it.
I'll
help
Professor get
25-foot
down.
landing. Okay.
Thank you.
Above you. Have fun. Don't die. And you are now in a very familiar place. You are back in the empty, flat-hewn halls of the Caraptus. And you all sort of take a deep breath. And the only thing you hear, other than the sound of your own breath, is... and Icillius cocking back the hammer of his gun. And he takes the first step forward past all of you. And that's where we'll pick up.
Ooh, we're back. Rip shield.
Oh boy.
Rip shield. That was a good ass shield. That lasted a long time.
I've had that since.
Our first Ivory Drift shopping spree.
It's been a while. It
been
has
over
been
a
I've
year.
had that since before the fucking stream, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was before we went to Slipwas.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ripperino.
Because didn't you also get you got a different spear, not Solarian at that time. It was the other one, and then you came back and traded.
And then I got that shield.
Yep.
I have had that with me for so long.
Big F in the chat.
No doots in chat. Nat ones in chat. So, I don't know what we're going to play next. It'll be next week sometime. But, thanks, everybody. I hope it's almost... we got 30 minutes until it's Valentine's Day. So, nobody fucked for 27 minutes. It's not valid until
You're
you
still
do it
kind of
after.
slipping into the accent.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I wasn't slipping. I was just doing it. And, do you not want me to do? You want me to do Chicago?
No, I like the Furbolg accent
Yeah,
much
keep
better.
it
He's so
Furbolg.
nice. I like playing him.
I love
He's so
Kraylin.
positive.
Just a big
So yeah,
wholesome
everybody have a
figure.
good time. Enjoy your night. Make sure to snuggle your furbolgs. And always think positively. And if you're alone on Valentine's Day, know that Kraylin would spend it with you if he could. He's very wholesome. He's like a sapient cookie that Grandma made.
What was
Someone
it?
put a Furbolg face on a Canadian riding a fucking polar bear to Tim Hortons.
That has a beaver sitting on the back
Okay,
of his hockey stick.
for the record, I
And
did
You
this.
did that before
I
Critical
did
Role.
this before Matt Mercer did Pumat Soul. God damn it!
Yep.
Okay, let it be known.
It was so funny whenever Puma Soul
I was
popped
like,
up and we
no!
were like, what the fuck?
Anyway, all right. I think that's it.
Edition.
We'll hang out
I
shortly.
miss
It'll
you,
be
dumbass.
fun. I think tomorrow night, either before we play, we're doing another D&D that you're not streaming. Either before that, me and Sarah will play Stardew, or after that, me and Sarah will be playing Stardew.
Depends on what time we wake up, I guess.
Yeah, so it just depends on how we feel. I had a long day. I'd like to sleep in. What's
I
up?
think we're playing at like 7 tomorrow, right?
Yeah, 7:30. It was depending on. I think Randy had to get out of work tomorrow, right? Or was
I'll be done with work at like noon.
it? Or was it Eric?
Hey.
It was them.
It might
because
be,
their
yeah, it
time-
might be Eric.
their
Okay.
Time zone.
So Eric the cleric. So anyway, so we'll be doing that, and then we might do some stuff after or before it doesn't.
Do you think he's related to Derek the Cleric?
God damn it. No.
Derek's not a cleric yet, but I would really like him to be
He's a
my
cleric in
squire.
Syrian Spire.
You're a boxer!
Yes, I am. And Derek would die very shortly
He could
after
be your
getting
hype
Cal's
man.
guidance.
He'd be a good hype man.
He would be a terrible hype man, but we could teach him. So,
We could teach him.
I just wanted to. He just seems so fucking. He
That
needed.
kid is fucked now.
Yeah, well, he was fucked before. I think.
But like, he
he-
went from like pure and sheltered
No,
to just.
he didn't go for pure and shot. He went from possible serial killer to definite serial killer.
True.
I feel like this is gonna turn into Rickety Cricket from It's Always Sunny, where every time you see him, you've influenced
He's just
him.
worse.
It's worse. He's got scars and tattoos. He's
He's sucking people
homeless
off
and
in
like.
He's sucking people off in the bathroom for
$5 a
lemon
piece.
slices.
Oh.
Jesus. Okay. All right. You guys have a wonderful night. Happy Valentine's Day. Enjoy it. When we get back, sadly, we couldn't catch up because a good Valentine's Day episode would be you possibly retrieving half of your wife's soul. So that would have been cute. So, like 2 halves. Who wants
Let's
to
just
do
do a marathon
ooh-woos?
stream.
Or what's the ooh-woos? Is the ooh-woos the cute and the oh-woos is the fuck? Or is it backwards?
What?
Nailed it. All right. Ooh, ooh,
They mean
ooh, and
different
oh,
things.
to your heart's desire tonight. Kawaii. Shut up.
Oh god.